What's up? What's good? What's good, everybody? It is your girl, your diva and knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris. What's good? Big ups to all of my subscribers, those of you who have been rocking with me from day one. I appreciate you for your support and still rocking with me, even though we may have not always agreed on certain things or certain subjects. I appreciate the fact that you were able to respect my differences. And with that being said, you know, you're still rocking with me. You're still loyal to my channel. So I definitely appreciate your loyalty. Those of you who have just recently subscribed, I welcome you to Mocha's Cafe de Paris family. For those of you, if this is your first time ever checking out any of my content, and this is your first time here, please make sure you subscribe, you like, and you share the video. That would be greatly appreciated. And remember, the like button is always free. So you don't have to pay any money to hit that like. If you don't like today's content and you decide to thumb it down, no love lost. I'm gonna still rock with you despite our differences. So on that note, I definitely wanted to thank each and every one of you. As you can see tonight, I'm doing a ladies' night panel. I got my girls, my backup, you know, my security system, Ruby and Poetic Kales, and I'm going to let them in momentarily. I thought it was important for me to do a live. I know it's been a while since I've uploaded. Big ups to Dallas, Naima, Topaz, everybody else who's coming in the chat. If I did not see your name, if I don't see your name and you're in here, 9 times out of 10, I probably blocked you. So if you're in here and I don't see you and I acknowledge you, it's because 9 times out of 10, you're probably on my block list. Thanks, Naima, for the $4 donation. Appreciate your son, love. Kiki, baby, as well. Steve, everybody who's coming in, Nolan, appreciate you, appreciate you. What's up, Dion? What's good? Appreciate you. So, of course, I felt it was old to do a live because again, I'm going to be going into full training come Monday. I got hired as a correctional officer. So my time is going to be limited. I'm not going to be able to do as many lives as I'm used to doing. So I appreciate all the wonderful emails that I've been getting. All the congratulations. Everybody's wishing me the best of luck. Again, I appreciate it and everything. So with no further ado, I don't want to ramble and drag this out too long. What's up, freelance Ronan? Yeah, freelance. That's one of my cyber husbands. I got like several of them on here. I think he's like 1 out of 50. I got several of them here. But what's up, freelance? Big ups to everybody who's entering. So anyway, that's why I wanted to do a live because I know my time is going to be limited. So I'm trying to get in as much time with my family, meaning my subscribers, as much as possible before it gets down to the nitty gritty and I'm no longer able to, do as much lives as I would like to. So I thought it was imperative that I did tonight's recipe, tonight's content. First and foremost, this content is brought to you by the Anti-Fuckery Zone, promoting knowledge, not garbage. We aim to build the Black community, not demolish it. So just thought I would let that be known. So basically for tonight's topic, I've covered this before, but I definitely want to go a little more in depth. And even more so, I wanted to go in depth with my girls, with my ladies here, because the last time I spoke on this recipe, the last time I spoke in this content, I did it by myself. So, what better way to share knowledge than to bring, my girls with me for them to also put in their input and for them to also, share their knowledge and wisdom with me as well. Because as women, that's how we grow. That's how we learn from one another by sharing wisdom and knowledge. So I decided to do a revamp, which means I spoke on this before, but this time I'm going to go a little bit more in depth because I feel like this particular content is needed. We're talking about attention-seeking harlots invading social media spaces. And the reason I felt this content was necessary is due to the fact, there is still a lot of pesticides that are infesting the Black YouTube sector. There's a lot of women, more so single women, that are not in relationships, or women that are seeking attention. They're trying to find a place to fit in and a space to belong and to be accepted. Because the truth of the matter is, for Black women, it is hard in the dating sector. I haven't dated for 20 years, but I can be honest and tell you, I haven't always been married. So the last time I was in the dating world, I realized how complicated it was to get a man to connect with, to get a man to vibe with. And now social media has really made it even harder for women to get the type of attention that you normally would get. And back in the day, because back in the day when I was dating, there was no Facebook, there was no YouTube. We didn't have any of that. You would know a man was interested in you because he had to approach you, because he saw you. Y'all met each other face to face. He saw what he liked. You saw what you like. What's up, Don? What's up, Raiders? Thank you for the $2 donation. You're freelance. We got a lot of pesticides in the building. Yes, we do. So back then, I had the privilege of being taken out on a real date. There was no social media. I got to go out on dates. I got guys took me out to dinner. I dated. I had fun. I had real dating. But unfortunately, social media has taken the motivation of men wanting to get to date women. So women are finding it harder in their own social life to really meet a man or to really connect with the man. So now social media, meaning Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all the Insta skank fake book, that's what I call them. All of these social media accessories we have now has given women another outlet to get attention. And being that some of these women cannot get attention in real life and a real social life, now they have to go through what's called social media. But anyway, I want my girls to definitely collaborate with me a little bit on this. So what's up, Kels? What's up, Ruby? How my girls doing this evening?
How you doing, Mocha? Hi, Roots. How y'all doing?
Hey, Kels. Hey, Mocha. See, I slid in right before the buzzer went off, right?
But
Yes, ma'am.
no. Let me tell you something. No, you one of those black people. You try to be slick, and you know you coming late somewhere, so you bring a nice gift. She the type of girl
Yes.
that'll come in. She an hour late, but to bring some red velvet cake. Bring something I really goddamn love, so I can't chew it.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know.
And also, you know what? The thing is, I came in late because I missed something I was supposed to do at the beginning. But the thing is, I'm going to
Mhm.
slide up in there, not make too much fuss so no one really notices me. And then when you find me there late, I'm sitting there in the kitchen. I'm helping serve, I'm helping clean things up. Like I've always been there, right? So what are you going to do? You're going to yell at me. I brought the cake. And now I'm sitting there and I'm helping out. Girl, will you gonna be mad? Come
Yeah.
on.
Oh,
Well,
You know I
well,
love you.
I can't be.
yeah.
I can't be mad if you brought some red velvet cake.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Right.
saying. That's the only reason why we can't chew out because she brought some real velvet cake. So you know we good. But again, I appreciate y'all for being able to make it in here tonight. I know it was very sudden, it was very abrupt. But just to put y'all up on game. I know me and Kels kind of had got to talk about it. But what we're going in tonight is the fact that there's a lot of women that are that basically social media has become the new space for women that are lonely, women that are seeking attention, women that are seeking to be validated. We know it's getting harder and harder now for women to be able to get attention like we used to be able to get it back in the day, like when we used to go to the house parties, we used to go to the club, back then when we were dating, it didn't take much to really get a man's attention. But now it's getting harder for women to seek attention. So now they're going through social media, they're going into man spaces. They're going on YouTube. They're going in Facebook. They're going to Instagram. They're using social media, using avatar pictures, using different gadgets to earn the attention and admiration of other men. And now what I'm starting to notice is that if a woman in some of these social media streets, if she's getting too much attention and another woman notices that, it's a problem. She becomes the target for that woman who's feel like she's stealing her shine, stealing her thunder. So my opinion is, do y'all think this is something that's really going on, or we're making too much of it? Is not as bad as it looks.
No, I see that it's really going on. How they do everything or try everything in the book to try to get a man's attention, and if a particular woman do get more attention from the men that she wants the attention from, she gets upset, starts attacking the woman, saying a bunch of things that she thinks like she knows you, um, following you around, calling you names. I'm just trying to make you undesirable, just like her. So nobody, so
Mm.
some of the men that she likes, that she wants to want her, won't want you.
Mm, wow, very interesting point. The undesirable looking to be desired. So, what better way to become the most desired by knocking out the competition? Very good point, Kales. Appreciate that. Ruby, what's your intake on this? Do you think there's too many cyber harlots that are still, creeping in these man spaces?
See, and I think, the problem is even more dangerous than just the cyber harlots because a lot of those, I mean, they're obvious. They're so obvious. The problem is the ones who are unremarkable who want to be remarkable. See, because the thing is no one hates these ones, right? No one hates them, but no one gives a shit what they have to say. Oops, sorry, excuse my French. No one cares what they have to say. No one really looks up to them or respects them. No one's really excited to see them. No one's inviting them to speak on panels to share their knowledge because they don't really have any knowledge. They don't really have opinions that are of value. They don't have, an education in anything, whether it's, social or, from books on anything that they can really share to help improve or enhance anybody. They're not really funny, so they can't roast nobody. They're not really anything. They're just irrelevant. But they want desperately to be relevant. And so the problem is now these ones, right? They're wearing that same mask where it's all sweet and oh well, she's there, you know who she is. All right, cool. but she can't stand you because everyone knows you. Everyone knows your name when you walked in.
And it gives you respect.
It gives you the respect because you've already established yourself as being someone who's got something to say and someone whose words should be respected or at least heard at some point or another. And so when you walk in, people give you that respect, they give you that love, and they can't stand that because they can see the difference in the way people are speaking to you versus the way they speak to them. And so what they do is they sit up there and they start sliding in little comments. They don't do it directly. They don't sit there and go, Ruby's a whore, Mocha's dumb. They don't do that. They just sit there and it's like, and me and Kels have spoken about this. So Kels knows one person, at least that I'm speaking about, who sits there at any time I'm on a panel. Anytime I'm on a panel, they're going to sit there and I'm going to say something really reasonable. No one disagrees with on the panel. And she'll turn around and go, see, there's Ruby with her feminism stuff again.
I've seen that.
Right. And I'm like, how is this feminist? What are you talking about? Sliding in those little slick comments, a little slick commentary to try to poison people's minds. When they read it, they go, oh, maybe I missed something. Right. And so now if you get into the panel, let's say you're a little late, right? If you're a little late, you can scroll up and you could read comments, right? So you didn't hear anyone say nothing, but you read the comments and you see this chick now, and she's just spoken about how Mocha is sitting there and caping for the hoes and caping for the single mothers and whatever. You didn't hear it, but you go, oh, Mocha was caping for single mothers? See, they're trying to poison people in a different way. And it's a lot more tricky. And it's because, again, they want to drag you down to their place where they're unremarkable, where they feel then maybe they finally have a shot at someone looking at them and giving them that respect.
That is very true and very, very well said, especially when you say that you be on the panel. See, you're more of a contribution. They're just a bunch of chat slurpers. You know what I'm saying? So it is not your fault. You're intelligent, you're good looking, you're respectful, you're classy. You know what I'm saying? People like that. They don't like insignificant nuisance, always in the chat, throwing little slick shade, trying to get attention from guys that don't want to give them no attention. It's just like, just be the real you. Just be yourself. Just come in there. Just say what you got to say. Just be who you are. You never know who you pick up.
Right, exactly.
But instead, they want to shit on you, drag you down, trying to make other people not like you so they can like them. It's their strategy.
And the thing is, and this is something that I think a lot of people miss, because these women haven't done anything. You can't think of something they did where you're like, nah, we should ban her, we should kick her out, we should ostracize her, because she didn't really say anything. And in fact, she's probably only said things you agree with. Right? Because she's going to go on to 17 different channels, and every single channel she's on, she's going to agree with everything the content creators say. Everything. That means she has 17. Right. And so she's going to have 17 different opinions on the same topic just based on what channel she's on. Right? Because she just wants to be relevant. She just wants to be acknowledged. She just wants people to go, oh, yeah, see,
I'm sorry.
It wasn't what you said.
Yeah. Okay. She just wants, she just wants people to go, oh yeah. See, she knows the real deal. She knows what's up. She knows what's good. Yeah. So that's what they want, right? They're sick and tired of hearing all the time. Kels is a down ass chick. Meanwhile, they're sitting in the chat and they're going, how come I can't be poetic, Kels? I want people to think I'm down. So how do they get down? Right? I'm just going to sit there and repeat back everything this person says. Yeah, that's right. You right. Yeah, Mocha, you right. Yeah, they are build-a-bums. Yeah, Mocha. And then they're going to go to someone else's channel and be like, oh yeah, I know that build-a-bum stuff doesn't make sense. Right? Whatever the content creator is saying, they're going to cave for because they want that badly to be acknowledged and special.
Right.
Now you know I'm Marie Freelance comment freelance. Thank you for the $5 cyber husband. Like I said, I got like 50 of them on here. So he says, rats and possums and pesticides with many kids, no man. Oh my, got the whole damn animal kingdom coming after you.
Don't nobody really want to be bothered with like a single woman. She's too thirsty, she's too
Mm-hmm.
available. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? She got too much time on her hands and she
Mm-hmm.
wants too much. Nobody really wants to be bothered with a single woman, especially a single mother.
I think it's more so the single mothers
Hmm.
than the single women, because what happens is, like you said earlier, it's unfortunate, and if it doesn't apply, let me make sure I put this up here for the very sensitive people in the room. Uh
If it
if it does
applies,
not apply,
write it on your
you
face
do
if
not
it
have to
applies.
reply. This
Right.
content is not in reference to all black men or all black women. Oh, okay, let me put that out there for the very sensitive people. Now, let's
Okay,
go
and for
back to
the
the single
and
mama
for,
thing.
and for the sensitive people, I'm talking to you.
Exactly, like we were saying earlier, is that, unfortunately, and all the guys say it and make it so bad, these women will go into these men's spaces who talk about their kind all the time. They know they're single moms or they know they're single women, and they will go into male spaces that shun single mothers, that shun single women, and they will go in these spaces and hang out with these dudes. Now, I guarantee you, if I were to ask half of these dudes that be social media low key flirting with them, hey, would you date a single mother? Would you date a woman with children? The majority of them are going to say no. But they will flirt with these females, and that's the thing about it. What women have to
Hmm.
realize is, when it comes to social media, you can't take it serious because men are flirting with you, because they're giving you little pet names. Boo, sweetie, what's up, sexy? Little things like that. As a woman, you can't really get hyped off of
Oh
these
yeah.
little comments, because that's just men, that's just their way. They like to flirt. Most of them, 9 times out of 10, they already got a woman of their own. They got a woman who they love and really care for, or they really enjoy their bachelor life, so the last thing they want to do is link in with any woman. They'll flirt with you and pet talk you all day, because at the end of the day, they know once they log off that PC, they ain't got to deal with your ass. They
They got
ain't got
their
to
real
see
woman.
you.
Right. They got their real woman to tend to. You know
Yeah,
what
that's
I'm saying?
how it
You
is.
just decide, they just need to
Yeah.
understand a lot of these chicks on here just need to understand that you're just a sideshow attraction.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Sideshow attraction.
So facts.
Yes,
So facts.
girl. Yes.
Hmm.
Yes. I agree. I
L-
agree.
Live with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because my thing is, let me tell you how bad it done got. Remember when men would flirt with you and they would actually ask you out?
Yes.
Not just flirt with you. And
Right.
a lot of these females, they so gullible. My thing is, if a man is not really asking you for your number, they're not really saying, I think you're a pretty woman. I like the way you carry yourself. I like your dialogue. You seem very intellectual. I would like to get to know you other than your avatar. You seem like the type of woman I would be interested in.
Oh,
If
that's
they're
gonna
not
alleviate
trying to
all of
take it,
them. That's gonna
huh?
that's gonna alleviate majority of them if they say I want to meet you past your avatar. Oh no.
That's what I'm saying. And that's the thing. A lot of these men are not going past that. So why are these women getting so hyped over anytime they see another woman getting attention in the chat room, or if a man is giving you the attention he won't, but that's just it. It's only attention. That's not doing me no good if that's all, if that's as far as it's going to go, especially if I know I want a relationship, I want a companionship. What's good just telling me how good I look and flirting with me over social media, but I know it's not going to go further than that.
Right.
But
Right.
that's all they want is the attention.
No, because the thing is though, Kels,
Mm-hmm.
is that for them and their lives, right? They don't know what a meaningful, significant relationship looks like or feels like, and they don't know how to get one. So the best that they know is that some guy gives you attention, and then if you send him the right signals, then maybe he'll bother to take you home for the night. And, you might not get his number or his real name, but, at least he continued giving you attention a little bit longer. You were the specialist one who got attention that night. That's what they're used to. They're used to that concept. You go to the bar or the club or wherever, and you just want to be the one who gets the most attention and gets taken home. You feel special when he's going to take you home after meeting you 10 minutes ago. Right. That's how you get your validation is, hey, the attention turned into some random, screw in the bathroom. So that's a problem. We're dealing with the type of woman who doesn't understand valuable, deep relationships with other people, whether it's men or women. They don't understand those things. And that's why they're competing. Like, they're competing with me. They're competing with Kels. They're competing with Mocha in something where we're not part of the competition. We're not playing the game with them. So they're competing against themselves and losing, because you can't win against someone who's not playing. By definition, they already won.
Right.
They're already at the finish line. So, like, what are you doing?
Right.
Why you are so right about that? It's like, how are you going to compete with some women that's not even interested in playing the game that you're trying to play?
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Like Topaz just said something just now, which makes sense. If they got attention regularly, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. And that is the truth. If you're used to getting attention, you're not going to be gravitating. Let me tell you something. I've seen some of these cyber harlots. Attention is so critical to them. I've seen a few of them do this. If they're in a chat full of guys and and the chat is going, and if some of the guys won't acknowledge them and be like, hey Ruby, or hey Kels, I've actually seen some of these females, these particular females, they will get mad and call these dudes out for not speaking to them. Oh, so you don't see me?
Dang, you gotta force somebody to look at you and speak to you and address your name. Like, you pathetic. You ground zero. You need to figure things out.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, you don't see me? Do you know how many women in the chat room other than you? It's like 50, 60 other women. And because they did not speak to you or say anything to you, it's an issue. You got to call them out because they want to acknowledge your presence.
Right. And they're being serious.
They just got to understand how insignificant that they are. You're just insignificant. You're a can of paint. So no, nobody sees you.
Right. They're just okay. Here's the thing. And it's funny. It's a lesson I had to learn because, I have, you have your like online friends, right? So I see you in panels. So, hey, what's up? Or whatever. That's about it. But there's a couple of those people I'm like, yeah, you're real cool. Or, we speak behind the scenes in the YouTube messenger thing or something. Right. And so a couple of those people, I started to learn this lesson. A couple of those people, I will joke around with them because I was messaging them literally earlier that day. We were talking about some stream that was on or something like that. I've spoken to you today. And so then we'll get into a new stream because, sometimes you'll go 5 different streams and every single one you see the same person. Right. And then I'll joke around and be like, after I haven't seen you for so long, you're not going to say hi. I'm clearly kidding. I literally just saw you and was speaking to you 5 minutes ago. It's a joke. But they'll sit there and be like, oh, I'm really sorry. I didn't look at the chat properly. I was just listening. I was quickly. And I'm like, yo, just chill, bro. I was kidding. But, what I realized after it happened, like with several people, I realized that, and I actually had a behind the scenes conversation with one of them. And I'm like, yo, are you taking me seriously when I say these things? And they said, yes, because women are like this. This is something that they've experienced so regularly that they're so afraid to offend the women that they find pleasant on YouTube to speak to because it's so regular. It is so regular that because they didn't acknowledge someone fast enough, because they acknowledged this person over this person first, blah, blah, blah. People are really getting in their feelings over it. People are, and it's not like a simple apology will suffice. No, like this will hurt feelings for a while, sitting there throwing shots and subliminals every time you get into a chat room with them because they're hurt because you didn't immediately acknowledge them the second they commented inside of the chat pane because you didn't have your chat pane open. But that's not good enough. And it's a thing, right? It's a thing. There's so much insecurity and irrelevancy that people are feeling in their real lives on a day-to-day basis that YouTube is the only place that they
It
feel that
is.
can kind of, it's a putting a band-aid on all that hurt for them. So they're overreacting to something that means nothing, that should mean absolutely nothing, but isn't really relevant anyway in the YouTube streets. They're overreacting to it because it's basically, without you giving them that, they didn't get their band-aid for the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I've always said now social media has become the lonely woman's playground.
Yeah,
Um,
it's her hunting range.
it is it's a hunting range because, like I said, it's easy to be one thing behind social media, but you can't cover up certain faults and flaws when you have to go out there into the real world socially. It's easy to hide behind an avatar and make yourself look good behind the avatar. It's easy, to talk and act a certain way, but the majority of what I'm discovering is that men, these cyber harlots that constantly feel the need to hang out in social media, to constantly hang out in man spaces, is because that is their way of compensating for the lack thereof of the real attention that they cannot get in their real social life. So YouTube is one of those places where a woman that's really lonely can feel embraced. She can feel accepted, because when we go into these chat rooms, ladies, you know how the guys be giving you daps. What's up, Kels? What's up, Rubes?
Yeah.
What's up, Spawn? What's up, everybody that's coming in?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you know how guys give you the pound, make you feel welcome down home. And the thing about it is, a lot of these women, in real life, they don't have that type of approachable spirit where men would
Mm.
really be interested in them personally, which is why they have to constantly hang out in man spaces. Because the truth of the matter is, I
Mm.
don't care what a woman says about I don't need a man, I don't want a man. Let's throw
It's
that
a
out the window.
lie.
That is a bold-faced lie.
That's a
Women
lie.
need some type of male companion,
Yeah,
even
Mm-hmm.
if it's just a
indeed.
male friend. I don't mean I got to be your husband or something like that, but every woman has to have a real male companion. They need it's nothing like, don't get me wrong, I love hanging out with my girls. Y'all mean the world to me, but every once in a while, I need my man. You get what I'm saying? So
Okay.
I can't, it's things my man can do that my girlfriends just can't do for me. I'm sorry, love y'all to
So
death, but it
you're
is
so
what it
right.
is. You know what I'm saying? So women, as much as we love to gravitate towards each other and we hang out and we love to chit and chat and chop it up, it's nothing like having your own male companion. You need that masculine energy around you. And what's going on is a lot of these women are being deprived, and I don't mean just sexually. It's not always about the sex. Well, that could be a big problem too. That's why a lot of them
Yep.
so
Mm-hmm.
bitchy. They haven't
Not
had their
getting no sex.
prescription filled in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So that too. But it's nothing like that masculine aura where you just like to be in the company of men. You need to hear a man's voice. You
That
need to feel a
that
man's touch. It's
that
it's by woman's nature. You got to have male companion. So what has happened is women who are being deprived of this in their real social life, now they can use social media as the new outlet to compensate for that. Because 9 times out of 10, these women ain't coming on in these man spaces for what females will talk to them.
you're
They're
right
not
about
coming in
that.
these men. They're not going to Red's channel. They ain't going to none of these men's channels. They ain't going to none of them just to talk to no damn females. Y'all know that's bull crap. They
Yeah.
going in there because they know the majority of that's where all the masculinity is. That's where all the men hang out. They're going in there to be around men. They need to be stroked. Their ego need to be stroked because their kitty ain't been stroked. So they
Yeah.
got to
No.
find a man
Get your
space to
kitty
get
stroke.
stroked.
Go
Yeah.
get your, go get your kitty stroke. So just breathe. He says. So what is it you all do to maintain a consistent man around? Well, honey, I caters to my man. Whatever he wants, he gets.
Yep. I
Mm.
mean,
There's no no in our language. There's no no.
yeah, I mean, it doesn't take a rocket scientist in because you asking just, we will answer. That's not a problem. It's
Mm-hmm.
basically the woman. She has to know the language of her man.
Mm,
All men have their own language, and it's up to that woman that is with that man to know his language, to know what his needs are, because some men, their needs are a little bit different than others are. They're prioritized differently. So basically, it's just for the one, being a woman, knowing how to appease your man, and that's really what it boils down to.
you know what? I'm going to add to that because I was writing when Kel's answered. So instead of writing, I'm going to answer because I think
Hmm.
um I think that the reason why he's asking is because Mocha, you were talking about the fact that just in general, when not needing a man, that doesn't make sense. We need male energy around us, even if it's not your
Right.
man, just having male energy. So I think he was asking in
Yes.
relation to that. Um,
Oh, okay.
right?
Gotcha.
And so I'm
Okay.
going to answer in relation to that because, for Mocha and myself, we're married. For Kel, she's in a relationship, but, it wasn't always the case that you're in a relationship or married or whatever. There's times you've been single. How do you keep a man around? Well, first of all, and this is, for me, I was always a tomboy and I've always had interests that, sometimes veer off from what the average female is interested in. So as a result, I've always had male friends. Now, and I don't mean oh well ones that I sleep with sometimes, no, straight platonic, and I don't mean orbiters who wanted to date me one day. I mean like nah, like I look at you like a brother kind of friends. I've always had those.
Mm.
um, I've always been the type of person who family is very important to me. Now my family is very dysfunctional in a lot of ways, but on occasion there's at least one or two members I'm in contact with that are male. Grandfather, uncle, cousin. So I have those energies around as well. And how do you keep those around you? Well,
Mm.
one of those things, because you might not be me. So you might not just be the type of person where, hey, you know what, listen, you can forget Ruby's even a girl. Like, well, people be like, oh, but we need a woman for that. I'll be like, I'm a woman. No, no, no. We mean like a real woman. Like they'll say that to me, like somehow. What do you mean a real woman? But they mean like what someone that for them they perceive as a girl, like a girly girl. Like I'm almost like a sister. Like if I show too much cleavage, they want to cover me up. Like I don't count like that, right? It's weird to see me in a dress. But you might not have that kind of energy. So you might be more of a girly girl. You're on that side. You're more feminine and masculine. Masculine energy is a little bit overwhelming for you. That's cool. You can still keep that around you by, again, when you engage with family and friends who are male, when you're going to give them respect. All you have to do is give them respect. There's a type of respect and deference you can give to a man that he finds very pleasant and he finds very complimentary. And he wants to be around that kind of respect and deference. And it's not
Right.
about, you being a doormat. It's just respect, period. You still be you, laughing, funny, a little bit feisty, whatever you are. You can still be you, but it's just about a respect and deference you give him. And when you do that, they want to spend time with you. They want to have you around because they find you pleasant to be around. And because that presence is around, they can now, they let their walls down. They want to get to know you. They want to speak to you. They want to understand you. So, for men, respect goes very, very, very far. And you giving that respect, and this helps in relationships too. You giving respect, not they have to earn your respect. You just giving
Mhm.
out that respect freely and that deference freely first is going to go a long way for women, for you guys to be able to have male relationships, platonic ones with people and family, friends, whatever, so that we can keep that energy around and you can have that attention without needing to beg for it on YouTube and put other women down. So hopefully you can get attention and feel special for 5 seconds.
Mhm. Yes, I totally agree, and that's the problem
It,
we have. Yeah. Go ahead, Kels.
no, I was just saying that this is
Mhm.
getting, I'm saying, psychologizing these secondhand Louis raggedy hands is really taking up a lot of time.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's like
Mm-hmm.
it's like you're insignificant. That's it. You know what I'm
the,
saying?
the,
Go search within yourself and find your soul and shine through that.
Raw L, and let me tell you, Raw L is hell because Raw L just really be stepping on toes. He says the female incels are masculine energy women who have crocodile personalities, running men away. They're socially awkward broads. And
But
then
that's
he said,
true.
Yeah, it's the truth. That's what makes it so funny. Because it's the truth. Many of these masculine bras have been exposed and they're caught like deer in the headlights. That smart mouth shit has ran its course. Even Asian men smacking them. Well,
I mean,
yeah.
these women, these females, women, whatever you want to call them, they got to understand.
Hmm.
No man wants a shark. They come off as a
Exactly.
shark. It's like,
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying? And you know, it's like you forcing people to speak to you, you forcing to be seen, you just shoving your way through the
Exactly.
lane, you're elbowing everybody. Nobody wants to deal with that. Come in and be a lady. Act like a lady at all times. That's what my uncle used to tell me. Act like a lady at all times. Come in there and be extra feminine, and maybe somebody might say hi.
But and see, this is the other point. The point is these type of females, they're only cool as long as you don't step on their toes. For
Yeah.
instance, if they are single mother, you can't say nothing about single moms. It's a problem. If they weigh 350, you can't say nothing about, heavy size females. You know what I mean? They're cool until you say something that they feel is addressing what they fit. And I'm finding that to be a problem with a lot of these females on YouTube. They only, that's the thing. They only rock with men who will basically co-sign on their shenanigans. As long as a man is praising them, as long as that man is complimenting them, as long as that man is acknowledging, as long as men are acknowledging them, they don't have a problem. But the moment they're called out and it's something that hits close to home, now it's a problem. Now they want to take it personal, when the truth of the matter is all women in some shape or form, all of us have been addressed. All of us have had our toes stepped on in some form or another. But
Oh,
guess what?
most definitely, most
I'm not
definitely.
gonna make it seem
Right.
but the thing is, you're not gonna make it seem obvious by the moment he says something about a single mom or something. Oh, well, why you got to say that about single mothers? What about these black men? And what about these baby daddies? Well, what about, it's so many black women that have such an offense filter to the point it's annoying trying to even communicate with these bras.
It's
Hmm.
like beating a dead horse trying to talk to them. So there's no point to even addressing them. It's like if you feel some type of way about somebody talking about single mothers, tough titty, but go suck it somewhere else.
It's true. It's true. And Mocha, I love the point that you brought up because it's something you could always tell this kind of woman because when she
Yep.
doesn't like what you have to say, it's always but look at when men do it. Look at when white women do it. Look at when
Right,
someone
bro.
else
I
does it,
can't
right?
stand that.
Wait,
That's
And
what else? I don't care. I don't care who else does it. Guess what? We didn't say only black women do this. We're talking about black single mothers. Are you a black single mother? Why don't you just address the point instead of trying to be like, but white women do it too.
yeah,
But
Oh
single
gosh.
fathers are there.
trying to
Okay.
Yes.
shift shift the attention and the conversation away from them. But ain't that what you
Right.
wanted? Ain't that what you wanted? You wanted attention and conversation, so we're giving it to
Exactly. See, and that's the double catch. Now to interject. See, the attention is fine as long as it's the attention that they want. But the
Mhm.
moment if it's the kind of attention they're not looking for, now they want to call it bashing. Now
Mhm.
they want to call it, oh, you criticizing. No, you wanted an attention.
yeah.
Mhm.
You asked for it. What's the problem?
Right. And you know
Yeah.
what? I'll say like, okay, for example, and so I was on Elise's panel this one time, and I was talking about my video and obviously my perspective on hoism in the 21st century. And see what I
Mm.
liked about her, she didn't agree with me. She said, "Yeah, I'm trying to have my fun summer or whatever." I can't remember. She used this term. Anyway, the point is she didn't sit there and start getting defensive and be like, well, white women get to be hoes, and well, white women get to suck on cucumbers. Well, white women get to have fun. She didn't do any of that. She just said, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm about. Oh, you want to know? Well, no, I think this is extreme. But she just claimed. She claimed what she claimed. You know what I mean? She looked down on what she looked down on, but she didn't sit there and start trying to point fingers at someone else because, hey, maybe 1/10 of what I said could apply to her. And I like that. I like when
Mm.
people are willing to claim their shit.
The
Listen, if
claims,
these
yeah.
this is a choice you are making. This is something you want to own in your day-to-day life. So be willing to stand by it. As people are saying, stand on your square. Be willing to stand up for it or realize that if you can't stand up for it, for it, not against it, but for it, then you know what? You shouldn't be doing it because obviously you think it's wrong, or you wouldn't get so damn defensive.
And
Exactly.
exactly, and that's why I feel like people can only make you feel bad about something that you already feel bad about. Because my
Mhm.
thing is, you cannot make me feel bad about a lie. If you go around here and you say, "Well, I know Mocha does crack," I'm not going to get offended by it because I know I don't do crack. You cannot get offended by a lie. You could only get offended by the
Good
truth.
point that you have made. That's a good point you made right there. You can't get offended by no lie.
You can't.
I
You
have
can't
so
because
many
guess
lies
what?
told
A
on me, and
lie
it didn't really bother me.
and it didn't bother you because you lies don't apply to you. Like they, you like my grandmother used to say, you only respond to what you're called. If somebody calls you a hoe, why would you respond to it? And you know
Hmm.
you're not one. So my thing is, as black women, we make it so obvious. When something rubs us the wrong way, we are not good at playing that shit off for nothing. If somebody says something about black women need to lose weight, you could always tell the sister who needs to lose weight because she's the first one that got something to say. Well, you can accept me for who I am or not. Well, what about these skinny chicks and blah blah blah? Or if you say something about the single mama, here she go. Well, what about these daddies? What about the so and so? Now, one thing I can say is where men and women differ. Men don't get offended as easily as women do. I've heard men who got several children say, I have a lot of bastard children I created out here. I've
Yeah.
heard men say that out their own mouth. I've heard men say, yes, I was dicking everybody. Yes, I have bastard children because I was not married to any of the mothers. I've heard men come out their mouth and say that in YouTube, but you're not, and y'all can attest to this, Ruby and Kels. You're not going to hear a black woman say her kids are bastard children,
Ever, ever,
even
ever.
though she
Nope.
knows she was not married to none of the fathers, or she don't even know who the fathers of her kids
Baby
are.
daddy
She's
is.
not.
Yep.
She's not going to say it. A black woman is going to get offended if you call her child a bastard when it is clearly in the Bible that if a child was not created through a husband and a wife, it's a bastard child. If you tell a black woman that her child is a bastard child, they snatching hair bundles. You know what's on and popping. You cannot tell I've yet to hear a black woman say, you know what? I was going through a hoish period. I was letting anybody dick me because I was desperate. I didn't care who I got attention from as long as I had got attention. They're not going to say it. It's either one or two things that the majority of these black women do. And again, if it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. We're not talking about all black women, but if the shoe fits, wear it. It's either going to be two things these black females are going to do. They're either one, get offended, or two, they're going to justify it. It's always going to be a reason for why they got all of these children or why they are a single mother. And the truth is, they're not going to tell you the truth. They're going to make themselves look like the victim. They're going to say, well,
Mm-hmm.
he left me, or he was a deadbeat daddy. I am so sick and tired of these females calling dudes deadbeats when the truth of the matter is, if you were willing to have a child from a deadbeat, what does that make you?
A
Mm-hmm.
deadbeat.
A deadbeat mother. So we
Mm-hmm.
we always want to play. We want to pull out that victim. We're looking for victim donations. We want somebody to donate to our emotions. We want somebody to sympathize with us being the victims. So we automatically got to put up this defense mechanism. Well, I didn't choose this life. Well, it's not my fault. He's not a real father, but you're not telling the whole story. You're only telling the version that you want everybody to empathize with.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. And I was thinking when you said, well, you wouldn't get mad at a lie, and I'm like, well, no, that's not true because I got really hurt and upset and mad actually when
Mm-hmm.
people were lying about me, and
Mm-hmm.
literally slandering me. So I was like, well, that's not true. And then I realized something. See,
Mm-hmm.
now I was upset at people slandering me and trying to slander specific parts of my character that, I worked really hard on being me. You know what I mean? It's not always easy
Mm-hmm.
to sit there and be certain things in your life. So I
Mm-hmm.
that really insulted me. And then I realized, but I'm like, yeah, but see all the lies they were telling about me when other people were just talking about the topic, right? So you're going to just talk about the topic of chicks who are lying about being married, or just talking about the topics of chicks who are hoes or whatever. I wasn't mad. I didn't get offended because I'm not either of those things. So I'm sitting
Mm-hmm.
there going, yeah, that's messed up. I'm not going, that's not fair. You shouldn't criticize those women. It was only when they were sitting there and specifically using my name to slander me that I was upset. I wasn't upset at the topic. And that's where I'm like, that's the difference. It's that hit dogs holler
Mm.
thing. No one mentioned you by name. Did someone say, hey,
Right.
you, so and so, well,
Yeah.
you are
That's
this,
the
that, and the
difference.
next thing. No one mentioned you by
Right.
name. And that's where most
That's
people
the
saying,
difference.
if it
Yeah.
doesn't apply, let
You
us
don't
let
have
it
to, you
slide.
don't let it
So
slide.
they just
Because
pretty much let everybody know that
Mhm.
it pertained to them.
but
Right.
Nobody was talking
yeah,
Exactly.
about you and nobody thought about you, but you just let everybody know that
That it
is
was all about you.
exactly.
Yes. This is about you.
Exactly. And guess what? What they got to understand is you're not the only dumb broad on this planet. It's a lot of broads that done made dumbass decisions like you. So it really could apply for anybody. You know what I
right.
mean? But again, you know your own insecurities. And when your buttons are being pushed, or when anybody's speaking on something pertaining to you, is of course you're going to feel some type of way because you know you fit that category. But like Ruby was saying, if nobody specifically addressed you, nobody said your name in the chat, nobody said your name in any content, why are you feeling some type of way? You're just telling on yourself. This happens all the time, and that's what I hate about social media, because social media has made it to where everybody just takes everything the wrong way. Even not even on YouTube. It's been a couple of times I would put a comment on Facebook and I would be speaking on, okay, maybe like single parenting or talking about child support. And it's always that one chick, it's always Bokisha, who has to come in and comment, well, that's not for everybody. Well, what about these black men? Well, what about and I realized that's one of the biggest failures. This is why, as black women, we cannot move forward because we're too busy worried about everybody else. We're too busy worrying about the white woman.
Right.
We're too busy worried about the black man. I have to
Yes.
make sure Mocha got her ish together. I don't have time to keep up with why are they picking on me because I'm a black woman. Why they ain't saying nothing to the white woman, to the Puerto Rican woman? And that's the thing. As black women, if we focused more on our own internal issues, we will become so much better than what we are. But as long as we could keep comparing, that gives us the advantage to not have to better ourselves. You get what I'm saying? As long as I can keep pointing out what Ruby is doing and what Kels is doing, that gives Mocha a pass, because now I can say I don't have to better myself, because guess what? Ruby ain't doing this and Kels ain't doing that. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason why as black women we cannot prosper, we cannot grow. You don't need to be competing with other women. Like I tell people, the only person I try to compete with the woman I was yesterday. That's the
Right.
only person I'm trying to outdo or compete. You know
Yes.
what I mean? So that's what we should be focusing on. You should be trying to be the better Ruby, the better Kels than what you
Yep.
were a year or two ago. You should be trying to mature, be trying to grow. You don't want to get back in that space. And that's why I have decided that I have had to pull back and detox from negative people. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
anybody negative around me, because negativity is contagious. You can't go in the chat room and sharing your good news without somebody trying to one up you. I'm up here talking about what I done accomplished or what I'm trying to do, because the reason why I feel it's important that black women we share our accomplishments, because a lot of us out here ain't doing shit. Let's
You're
just be
right.
honest. A lot of us are fitting the stereotype of being baby mamas, welfare, child support recipients. A lot of us fit that stereotype. So it's very important that when a black woman does something great, she does need to acknowledge it. But what I
Mm-hmm.
hate is when it's always that one sister, you want to try to outshine somebody else's success. Be happy with where you are. You don't have to put your billboard in front of somebody else's and say, hey, I know Mocha did this and I know Mocha doing great doing that, but this is what I'm doing. Stand in your own light. You
Mhm.
don't have to stand out by trying to come in somebody else's light.
That's what they should do, because why does it matter what somebody else do? You don't see I don't see my dreams through your eyes.
Mhm.
I don't want I want my own lifestyle. I don't want your lifestyle. So it doesn't matter, you know what I'm saying, what somebody else is doing.
Mm-hmm.
You right, Mocha. It only matters that I be the better person that I was yesterday.
And
Mhm.
that's it.
And I
Yeah.
just want to point out for the record that as much as the YouTube streets do, it's almost like it can convince you it's something real. It's got its own culture, its own rules, its own whatever. Fine. But I just want to remind everyone that the YouTube streets are not a real place, and this is not
Thank
real
you.
life. So
Thank you.
whatever acknowledgement, validation, or accomplishments you have made within the YouTube streets is
Mm.
not real. So,
Mm.
you thinking that all the validation and attention and accolades and praise you're getting on YouTube by YouTube people means something, that should tell you that you've got some serious issues that need looking at. You need to stop, go look in the mirror and go figure out how are you failing real life so badly that
Mm.
the validation and attention on YouTube is your everything, to the point where when someone shares good news with their friends online, you feel the need to one up them because you need to get some kind of praise today because you ain't got your own friends or your own accomplishments in the real world.
You're
Just
right
saying.
about that.
That's
You
what
know
it
what I'm saying?
is. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Your whole life is in a sardine can, and you want to make everybody else around you feel bad. You want to make everybody else around you feel bad because you
Mhm.
know your life is a sardine can.
Great.
You need to
Like,
reflect.
Says
Maybe you
sardine
should go to
can.
church. Maybe you should talk to the nearest neighbor. Maybe you should talk to a family member
somebody,
or
god
something.
damn. Right? Why don't you go do something that's worth a damn in the real world so that way someone can
Exactly.
pat you on the back and say, good job. You know what? That
Right.
was good of
That's
you.
what you need
One thing.
so much. If you need that so much in your life to make you a better person, go do that. Don't come on YouTube. Every time I
Mhm.
talk to people outside of YouTube about YouTube, they don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. And it's crazy because so a lot of people have so come so confined to the social media world that they don't even know how to have real social conversations. You'll be surprised. These same individuals, they be on the PCs on their laptops more than they be anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? And
Mhm.
again, um, I know the thirst trapping has come to an all-time high with a lot of these women because again, dudes are not dating women anymore. They're not. And it's not 100% these guys' fault, but because the problem is too many of these women, they're overly advertising themselves on social media. They
Mhm.
overly advertise themselves. Because remember, back in the day when you were dating, a man had to ask you out. Y'all had to go out for coffee. Y'all had to go out to Olive Garden, whatever. Actually hold a conversation and get to know each other. But now, social media, women, we put everything on social media. We let these men know all of our business before they even get to ask us on the first date. They already know what we wear, what we like, what we're all about, and all they have to do now is just
Yeah,
go
they
on our
they
Instagram.
know that you wear grandma panties.
No, but you know why? Because social media is
Yeah.
the only time in their entire lives that they are going to look the way that they do. Because see, here's the thing: is that between all of their Instagram filters that you can put on and all these camera filters, I mean, literally, you can make your face thinner, you can make your eyes bigger, you can make your teeth whiter and your eyes whiter, you can make your waist smaller, you
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 can
can
make
sure
your
do, you
can.
can.
eyelashes long. You can make your eyelashes longer.
Right, you can make your bum bigger. And I don't mean like back in the days where you used to sit with Photoshop and know what you're doing and
Mhm.
work real hard. I mean, like literally, you could push a button on an app and it does it in 2 seconds. Done. So
Exactly.
it's the only time in the world you can actually set your settings on certain cameras so that way it forever makes your face look thinner, your waist look thinner, your boobs look bigger, your butt, and you can set it that way so it just looks that way, and you can literally do a video chat with someone and look like a different human being. And then the lighting and the makeup, and it's the only time in the world they're ever going to be that attractive. And since they don't actually know, they have no non-sexual traits, they don't actually know anything about themselves for them to actually develop and work on their personality or other aspects that they could sell themselves on other than their sexual traits. They only know about their sexual traits because that's how lost they are. So they have to sit there and keep it in the online world as much as possible and sell all those sexual traits. And then as they do that, they're going to slip things in. Oh, and I have 5 kids, but look at my body. Oh yeah, and I've been to jail 3 times, but look at my body. Oh, and I don't know how to cook, but look at my body. And so over the course of months, this guy gets used to the idea of this ain't shit chick being like, the queen of his life. So that way, when he meets her the first time and she's a disappointment and she goes, yeah, I remember that exam I was studying for. That's how I put on the extra 50 pounds or whatever it is. Then he goes, oh, well, that makes it. And see, so what happens is they slowly, first they trap you with their fake ass sexual looks, right? And then they slide in. And honestly, men, y'all know when you're really aroused, a woman can get away with a lot of things. She can tell you a lot of things. You'll start accepting a lot of things. You're really turned on. And that's the problem. She keeps you in that state. And that's how she fools you. And that's why they're doing this. And that's how they're winning. They are winning because if someone met them in the real world where they don't really look like that at all, even with makeup, you can tell they don't look like that at all. And then they told you about all this stuff about them. And then you got to see their ratchet ain't shit qualities as a whole. They wouldn't get past date number 3. They know this.
Yeah, Mocha, they be filtering up their cameras and all kind of things, looking like Halle Berry. But then when
And
they
really,
get
damn Holly,
person, they
and
be a
really Holly
Wolverine.
scary.
Yeah, Halle
Yeah.
Berry. They be a straight Wolverine.
Yeah, also want to give a pause and give a shout out to Beyond, one of
Yes,
my
I'm
loyal
beyond.
subscribers. We thank you for the $20 donation. Woo!
Woo!
Yeah. Okay.
Ow, ow.
Now I can hit the package store. Yeah, I got to send Ruby and Kels a bottle too. We all gonna have to get blistered. Ambiance says
Yeah.
I agree. Most women don't understand what it really takes to attract a real man who would truly appreciate them. And that is the God's honest truth. And then what it amazes me because you would think by now these women would know if your amount of attention on Facebook is not adding up with the attention you get in real life or attention you get on YouTube, that's a big red flag. How is it you can get 300 likes on your picture, but in person you can barely get asked out just for a dude to take you to Starbucks for a latte mocha frappuccino? You can't even get one dude in person to ask you that. You know why? Because a lot of these women have altered their looks and they're wondering why they don't get the same amount of attention in their real life compared to what they get in social media with Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, because you're altering your looks. I've seen a lot of these females, and I know if y'all have seen it too, Ruby and Kels, from the head and the neck on down. That's as far as they go. And
Yeah.
underneath, they built like a hatchback football player or a hatchback of basketball. They built like a quarterback from the back. they look nothing like they
Get a
picture.
man to pay for their gummy worms. It's their fault.
Exactly. Exactly. And my thing is, you can always tell, first of all, a woman does not have all the time in the world to constantly be in man spaces.
Oh
It's
no.
one thing. Now, if you're a content creator, like what all 3 of us are, it's a different story. We have to constantly be in spaces to keep up with the know and to keep up with the topics. If this is something you're doing for YouTube and you're a content creator, I kind of see that. But when you start seeing the same women who are not really doing no content, you're not really like, you're not even on panels, you're just constantly hanging around like a bad stain left from a hot dog on somebody's shirt. You just constantly hanging around.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It's because again, and Topaz mentioned it in here earlier, that you're not getting attention in real life. There's no way in the world, you can constantly be in the same man spaces all of the time. Like I said, if you're a content creator, that's something you do, or something like that, or whatever, I can understand that. But my thing is, you have to constantly go into man spaces to get approval, to get your ego stroked. You got to talk about what you do for a living. You got to talk about how much money you make. You got to get God's technology. Oh, you don't see me in here. Oh, you can't speak to nobody. Oh, you didn't say anything to me. Just thirst trapping, looking
Well,
for a
see,
man to give you validation.
but these men are going to get tired of seeing these same old hot dog stains around, these insufficient funds. They're going to get tired of these insufficient funds as ATM machines cocked over there in the corner. They're going to get tired of seeing them around. And they're
Mm-hmm.
going to want somebody new and a fresh face to come through, at least
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna say because someone said earlier, and it kind of ties into the point I want to make here. So it was Just Breathe. Just Breathe said, "Listen, I
Mhm.
think single women should be outnumbered by married women in their social circles, not to spark jealousy, but to spark hope." And see, I'm gonna talk a little bit, but because that's how it's been created, and we don't realize that
I'm going to say something that, no, I'm sorry. I'm going to speak on that after you're done because he's so right.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this comment because I want everybody to see
803.
that.
It was at 803.
803. Okay, yeah,
But,
I'm
but
gonna have.
Rubes,
I'm gonna put that up.
Rubes, well, can I say this real quick?
Yeah, go
The
ahead.
reason
Go ahead.
why I said he's so right because I surrounded myself with married women, you and Mocha,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
Mhm.
look how they got me a top-notch man.
Damn, girl. See,
Damn.
well, let's see, we rubbed off. All right. I like this. I like this. But it's true. And I told y'all the same story.
Yeah.
Between the time that I got engaged, I was with this man for 7.5 years, got married when we were together for 8.5 years. Between the time I got engaged, and within a year of me getting, so 2 years from the time I got engaged, 6 single people got married. They started off single when I was engaged and ended up married. They weren't dating already. They were single, dead single. And not, I didn't say 5 years. I didn't say 6 years. I said within 2 years, they found the right man. That man proposed to them and they got married. That, I mean,
Mhm.
it does. So you know what? You're making such an absolutely valid point. I'm so glad that Kel's brought that up because that is part of the problem. Now we have to remember that average is average for a reason because the average person is going to be like that. That's the majority. Okay. Well, if the majority is being raised by single mothers or single people are going to socialize with other single people. Why? Because honestly, if you remember this or if you've been in this situation, once your people start having kids or they start having marriages and stuff like that, they're no longer on the same timeline as you, right? You want to go out every day and do this and do that. Your money's free and they're all tied up in their marriage. They don't have that same freedom. So you start socializing in different circles, which means now you're going to be, as a single mother, exposing your kids to other women who have similar concerns, and limitations in their lives, right? So you're not going to be around as a little girl growing up women who are married, women who see the world in a married kind of way. And so who are you modeling your life after? Your single mother. So what are your expectations going to be? Your expectations are going to be the expectations of the single woman. So when you start getting into relationships, you're not even realizing it, but that's what you're doing. You get into a relationship and expect relationships to be like single women's lives. That's not how a relationship works. It falls apart. You're confused, so on and so forth, because you never got the right modeling and shaping, right? So when the society has shifted to the way that it has now, what we need to recognize is all these women didn't create themselves. Their lives, just like when we say, like, listen, these little boys who grew up without fathers, they didn't create their confusion. It was created for them. It's the same thing for our little girls. We need to remember that something needs to give. And that something that needs to give, sure, we could just hope that all of the average and all the ratchet people and whatever go and get their head on straight. but that's not reality, right? But the reality could be is that those of us who have been in long-term relationships, those of us who are married and whatever, we can take the time to go and expose these younger people who are currently being built and molded, and go expose them to us, basically, right? Allow them to see the way we move, the way we think, the way we treat men, the way we see men, right? Because that is going to shape their reality so differently. They're going to have something to hold on to and something to teach them other than their bitter single mother.
Mm-hmm.
Very true.
Exactly. That's very true. And like I've been stating, because y'all know about my personal encounters I have had lately.
Yep.
There's been an issue with a lot of single. I can't even say single women, because I haven't had the issues with the single women, but I'm noticing that single mothers are making it more and more evident. And again, if it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. If it is not you, don't take it personal. But if the shoe fits, wear it. Okay.
And walk
Now,
down the block with them on.
and what? And I just noticed that there's a lot of competitiveness against women that are not in relationships with women that are married. And I noticed that single women or single mothers are so quick to knock women that are married. Everybody's not like Kels. Because believe it or not, before I got married, I was around married friends. I haven't always been married. So I had my chance to be single, and I've been there before. So it's not that I can't relate. I know how it is, and I didn't have any children, and I still could not find the right type of guy. Even without me having baggage. So I get it. I know what it's like being out there on the dating scene. You're running into crusty clowns and things of that nature. And I just made sure while I was out there dating, I said that until I find the right guy, the least I can do is make sure I don't get knocked up by any of these dudes. Because the dudes that I was meeting, I said, there's no way in hell I would make any of these guys my baby dad. I just knew some of them, the ones that I was dating. I'm like, there's no way in hell. But I was just fortunate where I had older women in my life who taught me what to look out for and how to avoid getting myself in that situation. And it's unfortunate that it's not a lot of Black women who've had that advantage, and they had to kind of go out there and learn on their own. They didn't have a mother, they didn't have an aunt, they didn't have no real female influence, teaching them what kind of man to look out, what type of man to build with and to have something with. So a lot of these women went out here self-taught. But my problem with single women, single mothers or whatever, is this. I have a problem when they want to opinionate on marriage. That is my problem. Especially when it's a negative opinion, because you would have to have been married to really understand what it takes for a woman as a wife to preserve her marriage. Now, this is only for the ones that are always so negative. I don't have a problem with anybody single who has an opinion about marriage, but when it's a negative opinion, especially when you are in a situation where you don't like being judged. These are the same women who don't like being judged. These single mothers, these will sit up here and say, I don't like to be judged. I don't want nobody looking down on me. But they too have the audacity to look down on women who have decided to make a different decision. Why? Maybe because we've seen what women like you went through, struggling, having to raise your children by yourself. So why would I want to repeat that same cycle when I see so many other Black women that are going through it? Why would I want to fall into that category? Rael says, I tell women all the time, if you want to be married, hang around married women. Why hang around females who got a different nigga every other week? Learn from success, not failure. True indeed.
Yes, very true. I like that.
Very true indeed. Yeah, because the thing is, we're supposed to inspire each other, not be intimidated. by each other. You
Right.
don't have to. We're all not going to be on the same level. You know what I mean? Some of us are going to reach the finish line before others reach it. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
you block your own blessings when you up here knocking somebody else's marriage and knocking what you think marriage is all about, because you have no clue. Because I can honestly say I was one of those women before I got married. I had an opinion about other people's marriage all of the time because I was perceiving it from a single woman's standpoint. And from a single woman's standpoint, looking at marriage, I looked at marriage like women were being controlled. Women didn't have a say so. Their husband regulate everything. You know, they're just slaves. They have no backbone. Until you really get in that
Mm.
situation, you really don't understand how it works. Because I had that same ignorant type of mindset, thinking that, oh, if you married, you got to do what he says do, and you don't have a mind of your own, and you less of a woman, until I found out it doesn't really work that way.
You know what? And I was so happy that this show did this. Jane the Virgin, which is gone now, but anyway, and I think it's in the last season. The grandmother gets married finally. She was married, and then her husband died, like 30 years ago, and she never remarried and whatever until now. So now she's remarried, and Jane, the granddaughter, has issues. Basically, the new husband is very old school and whatever. So it's like little things like, Jane, no, he's the man. He sits at the head of the table, and he's the man. He does this, and he's the man. So I do this for him, and so on and so forth. He's the head of our household now. Things are different, and so she was really upset about this, and she kept trying to, I don't know, insinuate herself, going and speaking to the husband, be like, yeah, would it be really great if you didn't do this, or if you did do this, and just like whatever. And so one day the grandmother came and snapped at her. Like, how dare you? How dare you come insinuate yourself in my marriage? I am happy in my marriage. I'm happy with the way things are. And she was like, no, but he's controlling you and he's putting you down. And this is in the 1920s. And she's like, what are you talking about? That's not true at all. Yeah, he's the head of the household. He gets to sit at the head of the table. But do you know that that man every single day makes sure when he gets home from work that my car is full of gas? He literally parks his car in the driveway, gets into my car, drives it to the gas station to make sure it's full of gas. He checks the tires and everything to make sure I'm going to have a safe and easy and direct drive to and from the house, because he doesn't want me to have to worry about anything.
Right.
And that man does this and that man does that. And so she was pointing out basically, yes, she wants to cater to her husband. She wants to
Heck
cook for
yeah.
him.
Yeah.
She wants to do all these things. And look at all the things he wants to do in return. And then and so that kind of had her dumbfounded. And she said something along the lines, yeah, but you shouldn't have to be a servant. She's like, why don't you have a problem when I was doing it for you and your mother? You and your mother lived in
Ooh,
this house for 30
hello.
years. Right? Y'all
Mm.
didn't mind when I cooked for you and I cleaned for you and I made sure your shirts were pressed and ironed and I made sure that you had this and that. You didn't mind until I was doing it for a man. What is the problem? Right? And at that point, that's when Jane stopped and she was like, oh. And then she put it all together. Wow. So I didn't have a problem when she did this for me and my mother.
Mm.
Oh,
This is how
no,
she's
That was
been treating me
powerful.
and my
yeah,
mother.
that well,
No
that
problem.
is. I mean, these women get mad when you get you a man. They get
Right?
real mad.
And
They're
they
like,
get
oh
mad
no,
when
no,
you
no,
take
no, no,
care of
no,
your
no.
man.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
anything you
Mm.
cater to your man and he takes care of you. Oh, they really hate that. That's like a federal offense crime right
Mm-hmm.
there. Oh no, he's so controlling. You can't do anything. No, it's not that I can't do anything. I don't want to.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Exactly. And
Right.
that's the thing. That's what she said. She was honored to finally have a husband after all this time and to be able to cater to her man. And she was and likewise, because she honored him, so he honored her so. And look at all the ways he took care of her, all these things she didn't have to worry about anymore. It's reciprocal, right? But if you've never been in a reciprocal and you've never given 100% and you've never honored your man, then you'll never understand what it is to give that to a man, because what he gives you back, it's like he gives it back to you tenfold. Everything you give, he gives back tenfold. So it doesn't even feel like you're sacrificing anything. It doesn't feel like you're under his thumb or you're so oppressed and whatever, because he's giving back in ways you can't even imagine. You can't even fathom in your little head right now all the ways that that man is going to give back to your life. You're going to think about stupid things like, oh, but what? Because you could pay bills. I could pay my own bills. Well, first of all, having someone else's money coming into a house makes you guys doubly rich. So I don't know what your problem is with that. Like, you can't do math. But okay, it's not about money. It's honestly not. Yeah, money is a great factor, but it's not about that. It's about the way a man cares. When a man loves you and he respects you and he honors you, the way that that man is going to treat you and the way that, that enriches your life, you cannot comprehend unless you engage in it. That's what it comes down to.
And
And
absolutely. Go ahead, Kels. What you was gonna say, hon?
Oh, no, no, no. I was gonna say, you speaking some real jewels right now, Rubes, as
Yes.
usual.
As usual. I mean, you know she's gonna always kill it. That's why I have to have y'all
Excellent.
here because Ruby's gonna kick the skills, and then damn Kels is gonna hit y'all with that damn ghetto slander. Talking about people, talking about goddamn sardine cans and all kind of shit.
Mhm, mhm.
I'm serious. I'm just loving every minute of it because we all have different personalities. That's what makes it so much
Yes.
fun. But it's the truth. I understand. It's unfortunate in the Black community, marriage is looked at as a punishment more
Oh,
so than a
Right.
blessing. It's not looked at as a blessing. Uh, there's this misconception that marriage is a burden
mm-mm.
and that marriage is not a blessing. And what I tell everybody, and I'm going to tell everybody here in the chat room, marriage is what you make of it. You cannot go by the examples that you see on
Facts.
Love and Hip Hop. You cannot go by what you see on 90 Day Fiance. You cannot go by what you see on Love and Lock Up. I love that goddamn show. I got to catch it tonight. But anyway, um, all of these things that you see on TV, do not let that define you as what is a good marriage. Don't let what these bad examples, these Tyler Perry movies, and these things that you see give you a negative perception that marriage is all about somebody controlling you, making your life miserable. This is what women have to understand. And I'm going to speak on this because I hear single women and single mothers, they're the ones who are always saying this. Um, I've heard this come from more than one woman, and that's why I'm going to address it. I've been told that your marriage isn't perfect. I'm gonna quote the words that has been said to me. Your marriage isn't perfect.
Neither is your single
Um,
life.
it's it. Well, God damn it, Kels. Every
Okay,
time I
I'm
try to be
sorry.
serious,
I'm sorry.
I just had to stop laughing. So I've been told this. I've been told that your marriage isn't perfect. Stop acting like you don't have problems. Now, I want us to go in a little bit more on this. And because I'm sure it's a lot of single women who feel that way. I don't care about the women who said it to me. I just don't want women who do stand a chance of getting a good husband having that attitude. Some women are tarnished and damaged goods. They can't be saved. But there are some women out here who are still stand a chance. And I don't want them adopting those theories, these false theories that they are hearing about marriage from people who have never been married, or those who are probably on their fifth or sixth marriage, or whatever the case is. So my thing is, I feel like anybody can learn from it because eventually one day you may get married. So you want to have some type of knowledge. You want to have something to go into, just like I had to be taught how to be a wife. I feel like it's very essential that married women, share some knowledge with single women who may very well end up being a wife one day, and that way they can have some of this knowledge. Now, this is what I try to tell women: there's no such thing as having a perfect marriage, because as we all know, marriage is not perfect. But what marriage is really consists of is two people that are strong enough and willing to come together to weather the storms. No matter how small, how huge, I don't care if it's a tsunami. It's two people that are willing to weather the storm despite what obstacles and trials and tribulations they may have to encounter. And that's what makes a marriage a marriage. Marriage is not based off of happiness. I don't know how many Tyler Perry movies, black women, we have been tarnished with the Tyler Perry movies. We've been tarnished with the Love and Hip Hop. We've been tarnished with the Lifetime movies. We're looking at the wedding dresses. We're looking at the wedding venues. There's a lot of misconceptions based on what we think marriage is. Marriage is not based on happiness. Because let me tell you something. If marriage was based on happiness, half us in the hill wouldn't be married. If that was the only
True.
reason you were married is because y'all were happy. Now, this is not to say you're not going to have happy moments. Anybody like Beyond, like he just said, he's been married 31 years. Anybody who's been married for 20 years or more, 10 years or more can tell you it has not always been pleasant. But what makes marriage different, set aside from people that are just going together, it's a commitment, meaning that I'm committed to you even if we got money today, even if we broke today,
Mm-hmm.
even if we can go out and do Red Lobster today. Okay, we can't do no Red Lobster. I got to stay home and cut up some Roger Wood sausage and some poke and beans. It's
Mm-hmm.
being able to deal with the ups and downs. It fluctuates
Right.
because things are not going to be the same all of the time. Now, I was one of those women. What's up, CC Rose? I had that ignorant attitude. If a man can't take care of me, then I don't want to marry him. But what I found out was marriage is not just about you, a man taking care of you. You have to also take care of that man. It goes both ways. Marriage is not a
Yes,
one-way
yes.
street because women, it's this misconception because y'all be listening to y'all aunts who on husband number 5, or listening to your mamas, listening to your girlfriends who still living in Section 8 housing and on baby dad number 8, number 9, never been married. These are people where we are getting our advice from. And this is the reason why we
Mm-hmm.
can't grow and we can't move ahead because we're listening to females that don't know no more than y'all know. You know why? Because females don't want to be around females that are smart because they're too busy being intimidated instead of being inspired. You should want to be around women who know more than you because you can actually really learn from them. Because me personally, I've never taught the girls my age. I've never. Even at 15, 16 years old, I've always talked to older married women.
I've always
I've
been that way
never
too.
talked to. Right, Kels? Didn't you have like that older aunt, a smart one? Or
Yep.
your mom, not no old retired hood rat. I'm talking
I
about
didn't
a
do hood
real,
rats.
exactly. You had that real one womanly figure who you could listen to and confide in, and that's how you learn how to become a woman. And the problem with women today, we don't want to learn from women who know they shit. We too busy being intimidated. Oh, she thinks she knows so much. She thinks she's so smart because she been together. She been with her husband 20 years. Be glad you got a friend that been with a husband that long because guess what? When it's your turn to get married and you go through some hard trials and tribulations, you may need a shoulder to lean on. You may need to call that same girlfriend and say, look, I've never experienced this before because I feel like as women, we should be able to have somebody to confide in, but you can't do it with all women because some of these women, they don't know what it takes to hold a relationship or to even be a wife.
They don't got that. They don't got that quality. They just a cum bucket.
The thing is that they're in blind competition, right? And it's funny because several people now are using the term low vibrational, right? And so you're basically it's like you falling back into like basic instincts because you're not using your higher processes in your brain to function. You're falling on those basic reflexes, those basic instincts. And so yes, there's a basic instinct for women to just try to compete with other women. And again, since the underlying thing our competition is all about is about that we're competing on is looks, i.e. genetics and looks and whatever, then a lot of women, what they're doing is they're just staying on that low vibrational area. They're not trying to exercise and use the higher functions of their brain. And they just want to be in blind competition. And the only thing you can be in blind competition in when you're on that low vibrational level are your looks and sex. And so you're not stopping These women are not stopping to actually look and see if this is working, to see if they have actually accomplished the long-term goal, not the short-term goal, but the long-term goals, which is what this competition is all about. No, it's all about this kind of immediate win feeling. I beat you today over this one man's attention, over this one man, having sex with me, over this one man allowing me to give him head, whatever it is, right? It's so low vibrational because it's a blind competition. And so rather than be educated, they're going to be in blind competition with you. And they know when they're in blind competition with a bunch of women, they're not really scared of the women who are just like them, right? They're not, because they understand that those women, they have about as much of a chance of success as those women do of getting the man. It's you that's threatening because you're
Right.
beautiful and you're intelligent and you don't have to show off all the goods, and yet somehow guys find you really sexually attractive. And on top of that, you don't have to sit there, be a doormat or whatever, and yet men find you feminine, and so on and so forth. So you are a full package. You are above their low vibrational competition. And so that's terrifying to them. They want to knock you right off of that high, full competition mode. They want to say, hey, listen, I don't want you to be a full person. I want you to come down here, be low vibrational with me, come roll around in the muck with me, because at least then I have a fighting chance. So they see you're better than them. They see you know more than them. They see that you understand something they don't, but they aren't willing to stop the blind competition long enough to learn something and elevate themselves and get a higher quality of man and get a man who might actually commit to them because they are commitment worthy finally.
Yeah, that guess what, y'all? We got Jay Shine in the
Jay Shine, go to
building.
sleep. What are you doing awake on the other side of the planet? It's like 3 o'clock, 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. Go to sleep. We're banning you tonight, so you go to sleep.
Yes, we had Jay Shine in the building. So before we switch gears, because I want to talk about this Malik Yoba thing, because
Oh,
this situation is really rubbing me wrong. It's really been irritating me like a yeast infection, because this dude has been conflicting himself, and I want us. Are y'all familiar with the Malik Yoba situation?
yep. And he the one who played in
New
Why Did I
York
Get Married?
undercover, and now we find out he really has been undercover, maybe under the cover with a transformer, robots in disguise, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. So before we get ready to shift gears, what is your last and final thoughts, with these women, these cyber harlots, that are still using these men's platforms to throw shade, to try to get attention. They see some of the women in the chat that's getting a lot of attention, and they're not. They have to knock another woman's shine. I'm like this, if you and another female, I'm gonna give my intake on it, and then I'm gonna let y'all go next. My intake on the cyber harlots is, I'm like this. If you have a problem with a female, you do not like her because she said something that made you feel some type of way, or she stepped on your toes, or she said something that feel punched you in the gut. The last thing we need to do as Black women is promote BFF, Black female fuckery. We can't be going into men's spaces, getting into it with each other. You throwing undercover shade, and you're trying to throw dags and feel like somebody can't read in between the lines, and you're typing subliminal messages, like somebody can't really tell who you directing it towards. But my thing is this: never let a woman know that you're that pressed about her. The more you keep responding, the more you keep digging at a female every time you see her into the chat room, that just lets her know that you are on that Little Caesars tantrum. You hot and ready. You so ready. You so pressed. You so bothered that you just got to say something. Don't let a woman even know she's that relevant to you. Stop giving females attention who you don't like, who you don't vibe with. It's kind of like an oxymoron. You know, if you don't like somebody, the last thing you need to do is give them attention. The last thing you need to do is throw shade, undercover insults. Never let a woman even think that she is on your mind like that. If you are doing you and you love yourself, that's all that matters. Don't let other females who have an opinion different from yours make you stoop to a low level to where you have to be childish and you have to say all kind of things behind an avatar because you don't have the balls to go live and speak your opinion, or you have to troll and hide under other accounts and all this other stuff. It's a coward way of dealing with your emotions. And I will say this: some of these women, I would really like to reach out to them personally and be on some look. I feel me and you have a problem. I want us to address what is the problem that you have with me? Because evidently you are stalking me. You follow me like an STD. Everywhere I go, you are there. You have become like a shadow. You know, every time I turn around and look, you're right behind me. And it's what I wish we were in the type of world where I could approach women who I have had these encounters with. But the truth of the matter is, I don't feel comfortable with addressing these type of women because just seeing the way they carry on in the chat room lets me know they're not going to take accountability for their actions. They're going to automatically try to put it all on me like I was the one who did something to make them feel some type of way or whatever. So the real woman in me, I would love to do that. I would love to square up and say, look, let's go talk behind closed doors. I would mind sending them a link and saying, look, I don't know where we went wrong. I don't know what happened, but I would like for us to address this because I really feel like black women, we get enough flack as it is. We already got the odds going against us. We have all this BFF, black female fuckery, that's constantly surrounding us. And the last thing we need to do is promote that black female fuckery in these man spaces, in their chat rooms, in their panel. When we carry on in this manner, it proves to these men that they are right. Black women are ghetto. We don't know how to talk. We don't know how to act. We don't know how to resolve our issues. And I don't know about these other women, but the last thing I want to do is prove these brothers right. I'm not with the BFF. You know, I'm not all about, trying to, stand on top of you so I can shine. I got my own shine. I don't have to stand in your light to be noticed. I'm gonna stand in my own light. So with that being said, I will not, as much as I would like to talk to these women personally, I know I cannot do that because all black women are not approachable. They are argumentative, they are confrontational. Black women are the most hardest individuals to resolve issues with. So I totally understand what black men are going through because I have gone through it. I've had to let go of friendships with black women, and these are black women I've known for years. I'm talking about 10, 15 years. We went back since middle school. And I've had to let go of black women as a black woman. I've had to not, I can't deal with black women. I really can't. It's a rare breed that I can deal with women like Kels and Ruby and everything. And I hope our friendship never falters because I see it happen so much on YouTube. I see how black women have come together strong, and because one gets a little bit of light, or one gets a little attention, or one gets a little bit more praises than the other, then next thing you notice, not now, the friendship has become turbulent. And this is the reason why I don't feel comfortable with talking to black women as much as I would like to, because I've heard people say, well, Mocha, why you can't just talk to this person? Why you can't? No, I'm not talking to that person because I already see how they act in the chat room. Why would I want to get behind closed doors and they be even more disrespectful? They see even more foul stuff out their mouth. I cannot, I refuse to try to talk to these women because some of these women have a way of taking you out of your character. So with that being said, any personal issues they have with me, the best thing we can do as black women, we don't have to be friends. We don't have to talk to each other. Just stay away from one another in these chat rooms. Don't say nothing to me. I won't say nothing to you. And just leave it at that. And that's how I feel about it. So I'll Kels, Ruby, y'all can go ahead and give y'all intake on these cyber harlots, and then we can go into the Malik Yoba situation.
Okay, as far as these cyber harlots, there's really nothing too much that we could do about them. They're gonna stampede every chat room that they go to.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of these men accepts them, appraise them, and then they put them on a pedestal by putting them always on the panel or giving them a
True.
rent, making it free for them to say and do whatever they want in the chat room, not caring about the other people that's been around for a long time, how disrespectful and nasty and ornery they are. So sometimes that has a lot to do with the content creator. But then again,
Right.
they need their views. I get it. You need your attention, whatever, blizza blizza. But like you said, for these cyber harlots, nobody wants your shine. Nobody cares about your light. Nobody cares about your space. Nobody wants what you want. Stay the fuck away. Do what it is that you do. Don't say anything to my sisters or me. And have a great day.
Exactly.
Hmm.
Facts.
I'm going to say this. And, men really, really want the problem to change. They want it to be resolved. They want these women to go away or change. And a lot of times they either expect these women to independently just do it themselves, or if not, for women like ourselves to fix them. Why aren't you speaking out against it? Why aren't you fighting it? Why aren't you whatever? And what we need to recognize is, for the most part, those women aren't on Mocha. Do you see them in Mocha's chat room? No? Oh, do you see them
Mhm.
commenting on my videos? Do you see them in Kels's chat room? No? Oh, well, it's because I think we do call them out. We don't stand for it. We catch it quickly and we shut it down. We can't
Right.
go on to, you're a man, right? So as it is, since all these women here actually respect men, we're not going to sit there, get on your platform and decide that we own it and we run it and we can do what we want on it, including getting rid of your subscribers just because we say so.
Right.
Nor are we going to overrule you. So all we can do is advise. All we can do is tell you what we see about these women, and it's up to you to make a choice to remove them or not. It's up to you to trust our judgment and what we've seen and in our words, and make a choice on that or not. And what I find is that for the fact that a lot of men, they speak on wanting to be hard on these decisions and whatever, a lot of them are real soft on women. They are. That's what it
They
comes down to.
are. You
They're
ain't lying.
so soft on women. So, the a woman just speaks in a slightly higher tone to them, giggles at their jokes and whatever, and they lose their minds,
Mm.
and they lose their resolve, and they lose their ability to judge her correctly. And what we need to recognize is that whether you're a good woman or some ratchet woman or whatever, overall, women respect the authority of men over the authority of women, just like men respect the authority of men over the authority of women. So it's going to take men. It's going to take men to resolve this issue about these harlots coming in, about these insecure women coming in, and basically using your platforms for validation and attention and all of that. That's what it's going to come down to. It's going to come down to the men, just like it's going to come down to the men to stop the hoism trend, because women don't do this with no likes and views. They don't. They don't do this without money. They don't do this without validation and attention. So if men were not validating them, giving them the attention, filling up their pockets with money, filling up their clicks and likes and views and comments and whatever, then they wouldn't do it, because that's why they're doing it. We need to recognize that women, low vibrational especially, the only thing they function for is men validation and attention. That's all they're
Mm.
functioning for. All they're functioning for is trying to win the competition for mates. That's all they're functioning for. So what we need to recognize is that if you remove that type of woman as a prize and you stop validating her, she'll stop acting that way. If Mocha becomes now the number one, if you want to have all the male attention in the world, you have to be Mocha. every woman will start acting like Mocha. Everyone, they will sit there
Right.
and she'll be
Right.
scared to open her door because they will be trying to track her 24/7 to be just like her. That's how women work. So you need to realize
True.
how much of a deep influence. You think you have no influence, but you have all the influence in the world on women. Even the ones who say, I don't need no man. Even those women, you have all the influence in the world on women. So you just need to recognize your power and start using it. And by using it, vote with your time, vote with your clicks, vote with your likes. All right, I'm good.
Very, very well said, ladies. Very well said. So, cyber harlots, you get no love here. But you're
None.
welcome to donate. Let me
Hit
put
that
my
super chat.
hashtag up. Let me put my hashtag up for the for cyber harlots. You're welcome to donate. Cash App Diamond Girl. I'll take your donations, but I give a rat's ass about your opinion. So
Okay.
with that moving forward, I really want to talk about this Malik Yoba thing, y'all.
Mm.
I don't know if y'all seen his last interview with the Breakfast Club. If y'all seen it, when I say it was I was so annoyed. I would rather get a root canal.
Mm.
That's how terrible this interview was. He basically decided to go on a Breakfast Club after earlier this month, after Malik Yoba admitted to the world that he was attracted to transformers and found himself in a firestorm of applause, critique, and accusations. But in the midst of it all, the former New York undercover star has refused to back down from his stance and has only doubled down on his new role as a transformer robot in disguise advocate in the public eye. Given the mixed reviews to his announcements, everyone was a bit apprehensive when they heard he was sitting down with the Breakfast Club. And let me see. I'm just reading the article. That is until I find out that David Johns, the executive director of the National Black Justice Coalition, NBJC, would be sitting in during the appearance along with Carmen Carrera and Nala Simone. So basically, he was doing an interview and he had two Transformers there with him in the process of him doing this interview. And when I say it was a hot mess, you can pretty much tell that the Breakfast Club, they didn't really do a good job with the interview. You can tell they was trying to play it safe because these Transformers was really going in on them. And no matter what Malik Yoba was saying, even though he tried to explain himself, nothing he said was making any sense. All of his rhetoric and his reasoning behind stating that he was not gay, but he had an attraction for Transformers. It was just really, really terrible. You can just tell he was really reaching. He was really trying to convince everybody that he's straight, but he put himself between a rock and a hard place because he had three of them there while he was doing this, and they were not having it. So y'all have to look at the interview. It would definitely make sense to y'all, but you can really, really tell that interview on the Breakfast Club made it even more evident that I'm just not convinced. I believe this man has a infatuation with Transformers. What is y'all intake? What do y'all know so far based on what y'all have heard?
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out what made him out of the clear blue sky come out and say that he had an attraction with Transformers.
well
Like
well you
they don't
yeah
usually come out. They don't usually just come out like that. You usually got to catch them in the act.
yeah coincidentally, as soon as he came out, he got accused of sexual assault by Mariah Lopez Ebony, allegedly, because you got to
Hold
say
on.
allegedly.
I got an answer for that question. Actually, I'm reading up on it because as though I
Mm-hmm.
know it happened, but I've had the
Mm-hmm.
flu, so I didn't look into none of this. But
Gotcha.
I, I actually, it's funny because I'm right in this article. I'm reading at the part that Kels is asking. So, okay, on August 26th, Yoba posted a video of a 20-year-old Maurice Willoughby being teased for his relationship with his transgender girlfriend Faith Palmer. Originally, it was reported that Willoughby killed himself on August 20th because of that bullying, but Palmer explained on Facebook he was also struggling with drugs. Yoba's post in support of Willoughby declared that he too is attracted to both trans and cisgendered women. I love all women and count myself among those that find themselves trans attracted, and I too have felt the self-imposed shame that comes with the truth, but it's time to speak up, Yoba wrote. It is not about genitalia or sex, but about attraction to the soul and humanity of an individual, and often the beauty that is in the courage and conviction to live one's truth. As a self-identified cis heterosexual male, I am too learning what it means to be trans attracted. So that's what the original post was that he posted, and I guess the series of events. So I guess he had become aware of this Willoughby story, that there was a lot of bullying, cyberbullying, how extreme that stuff can get, because he was dating a trans woman, or I guess a woman who publicly is identified as being trans. And with all of that bullying and self-hate that came with it, and insinuations that were made, this kid killed himself. And I guess Malik Yoba, seeing that, said, okay, you know what, this isn't right. You shouldn't hate yourself, or all these terrible insinuations being made, like, hey, I'm a famous actor, that has a lot of respect, and y'all know me and whatever, and hey, I like women, period, whether they're trans or not. So I think he was kind of in that spirit of that's kind of what all happened. And then from there, how that followed. Then all of a sudden now this Ebony chick comes out saying, oh, blah, blah, blah. And all of that came afterwards. But I think that this thing that happened on August 26th and whatever is kind of the jump off point, and why.
Yeah, and actually a few others, they're like roaches now. They Bill Cosby in him. When one come out, once you open Pandora's box, now everybody has a little something to say. When they could have said it, way before this one, individual came out. And my thing is, regardless of person's sexual preference or sexual orientation, people do not have the right to be mistreated. They do not have the right to be assaulted, regardless of what. But he definitely opened Pandora's box when he went there the way he did. And I strongly believe a lot of that is going on. It's a lot of sisters who don't want to believe that, but I think it's a lot of splendor brothers in the community. It's a lot of them that are straddling the fence. We've seen horror stories. I remember when Kendra, she used to be one of Hefner's Playboy bunnies. And I remember when she married Hank Wilkerson, he was with the Colts. And I remembered when his big old scandal came out, and this was her husband that she had just had children from. They only been married like 3-4 years, and sure enough, this transformer came out and exposed them. So it's like now men have to be even more careful. Once upon a time, all they had to do was watch their back from the side chicks, but now they got to be cautious of the transformers, because these transformers, they are out in these guys. They are out in it. They are putting it out there. And to me personally, I just think, guys, it's one thing if you're open and you say I'm bisexual, or I go both ways and my wife knows it, and we see your wife standing there supporting you and she's accepted it, is one thing. I have a problem with the sweet and low dudes. When you're putting up this front, and you got the image of you with your wife and your children, but behind closed doors, you playing them fudge. You
Now,
doing other things.
can
Yes,
I
go
say
ahead.
something? Here's the thing. Y'all are all
Mhm,
going to disagree with me. I know. I don't have these conversations almost ever with the Black community, because
mhm,
forever y'all will disagree with me, and that's cool.
mhm,
But because it's your panel, Mocha, and I love you and Kels, and I know that, we'll all have
mhm,
mutual respect, I'll voice my
mhm,
opinion here.
mhm,
Okay. So here's the thing. There is a difference between a down low guy who's sitting there and fronting and pretending he likes women, basically. Like he get up and
Right.
close his eyes. There's a difference between that and someone who's bisexual, right? Because a bisexual
Right.
person can be fall in love with and have sex with, be sexually attracted to both men and women. The problem
Mhm.
is we in the Black community almost don't believe in bisexuality, especially for men. If you have
Mm.
ever in your life been attracted to one man ever, it doesn't matter how many women you've been attracted to, it doesn't matter you got married to a woman and that one male experience was like 25 years ago, you've never been interested in men since then. It doesn't matter, you're gay. Right? That is a common
Right.
thing. So we don't have, if we have discussions about bisexual at all, it's normally about women. And even then, we don't use that type of terminology. See, women play around with each other, but realistically, they're always straight, right? That I mean, it's almost like we don't believe women can be gay, not really. And then we don't believe that men can be straight if they've ever been attracted to a guy in any way. So, I think in our community, we already don't talk about in betweens at all. And if we do, someone tries to say they're in between, we already shove them to one side or the other. Um,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
you get into trannies, right? And so, and I'm gonna say there's a difference between a transsexual woman, a woman who, a man who started off as a man. I want to become a woman, so I actually don't
Mhm.
want any of the male physicality, including below the belt. I don't want any of that. Eventually, I'm gonna go have surgery and whatever. We're not gonna focus on the fact that I have one of those at all because I don't want it. I'm a woman. There's a difference between that and trannies who, and normally this is in the sex trade we're talking about, who they keep that, genitalia below the belt, but they also have breasts, right? And so what
Right.
they're doing, and this is what I think these underage prostitute people are talking about, what they're doing is they're selling sex and they're saying, hey, listen, you can get the down there below the belt thing, but you still get the boobs and the body that you like in the face. So you're attracted to women, you like the face, you like the boobs, you like the whatever, but you want to try out that tool. And so you like that combination of all those things. Now, that in and of itself, to me, I mean, I think that even in other communities, that would be a confusing and, probably very shameful thing for you to be admitting, because what does it mean? What does it mean that you're attracted to female body overall, but then men have this one thing that you're attracted to? Well, then does that make you gay? Does it not make you gay? Well, most of the community would just say, well, then you're gay. Well, then you're an F word. And that's it.
Mhm.
That's where we would end with it. So, I don't think that we make it really easy for people to be honest, or start these
Mhm.
conversations. And I don't think we make it very easy for people to truly be informed. And honestly, the only reason why I am is because it came and got slapped in my face when I was 12, right? Because it happened in my family. So suddenly the idea when I was a kid, my mom used to take me downtown with my godmother and my godbrother and lock the doors, kids. We're going to go look at the freaks, right? We go look at the transsexuals and the cross dressers and the drug addicts and whatever on Queen Street. We used to do that. That was my experience of the gay community, except for RuPaul on TV on occasion. I didn't know anything about any of this until it slapped me in the face, and it happened to my family. And then at that point, you know what, I know what our community is like, because everyone, when I finally did turn to people and tell them, my whole family turned against me because I wasn't going to hate my parent who was transitioning. I mean, when I say they turned against me, I'm a 12-year-old kid and suddenly I have nobody. Everyone hates me.
Mhm.
Everyone thinks I'm disgusting. Everyone thinks I'm going to hell for supporting this heathen, blah, blah, blah. I'm
Right.
12. This is my parent. It's not like I went looking for it. It's not definitely not like I'm asking for it. I'm negotiating on my own side, trying to get, my daddy to go back the other way. But there's not a lot you can do. I can't control grown ass people. And then on top of that, it's like, okay, then I go to my church because I'm part of a church. At that time, I had chosen to be part of church. I went to find church. My parents didn't bring me to church. I brought them to church. And so I was a missionary. And what did the church tell me? Church tells me, well, my dad's going to hell. I'm going to hell unless I sit there and rebuke Satan and blah, blah, blah. And that's it. That was all the information I got. So
Yeah.
what I went and I looked up, and it took me about 10 years almost to come up with my own opinion. Where do I stand on these facts, and why do I stand there? And, sure, there's social opinions and whatever, but I started looking into the science of it. I started looking into the science of intersex conditions. which is a big one. If you knew all the intersex conditions and the different things that can go wrong inside of an embryo, basically, to make them come out not exactly the way they're supposed to genetically or physically, it starts, things like sexuality start to be less confusing and less of a choice and more like a, oh, there's a science behind intersex conditions. It's not just this person's mad out of their mind, right? So, there's a bunch of other reasons why I have the opinions that I do. This man in and of itself, I personally don't think, oh, he's some undercover gay guy and blah blah blah. I think he's pretty clear on what he's attracted to. He is attracted to women. I think he did fool around with the idea of the trannies. And overall just say, listen, if some woman's transitioning, I don't really care as long as, her end goal is to fully be female, because overall I'm attracted to women. I don't care if she's genetically born that way. I think that's what he's saying ultimately. And I think that the community will reject that forever and will never accept that as being valid. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, absolutely. The other issue with it was when his wife even admitted, she posted it on social media that, she said it out her mouth. His wife, posted, and this is what she said. In case y'all missed it, Terry Vega, who is the wife of Mr. Yoba, she stated on her IG, quote unquote, as the mother of our two beautiful children, you already know how my support for you has always been unconditional. She then went on to confirm he is in a trans relationship before slamming him for not talking to their children about the revelation. I expressed that 2 months ago to you when I became aware of your current trans relationship. She continued her comment. Why did you not have a conversation with our children and wait till last night to text our firstborn with this info? Yet you were preparing your public months ago on IG. Our children support you and keep so much a secret of what really goes down with our family dynamic. I asked to meet you over a month ago, and you have yet to make time. So here I am. If you know better, then do better. Family is first overall. So to me, what I gather is that she already knew what her ex-husband or whatever was doing, and they had that type of understanding. And when she said the part about where did she say the part when she said about the dynamics of our family and the fact that you outed this to the public, our children support you and keep so much a secret of what really goes down with our family dynamic. So she's already saying, and what I'm gathering from it is that we already know there's an unusual dysfunction within our family. So she already spilled the beans and said that she knows he's in a transsexual relationship. Then for him to come out all of a suddenly, so this has probably been something he's been partaking in. It's more than he's just having an attraction for transformers. He's actually involved with one because his wife outed it. She said that he was in a trans relationship. So somewhere we're getting lies, because my thing is you it's more than just an attraction. It's one thing to be attracted to something, but it's another thing when your own wife, which is as embarrassing that is, she's a better wife than me, to be that supportive. Your own wife said you in a relationship. So this ain't no just attraction thing. He's dealing with these women.
Well, then that means that because I was looking at somebody's comment, I just want to say you're probably right. Maybe the transformer was threatening to come out and tell the world. That's why he went on ahead and did it first.
Yeah, that my thing is this. People would respect it more if he just now this is the other thing. y'all, now that I just read the part about what his wife said, now he's saying he's not gay.
Yes, he is, because the thing about it is the reason why people say what they say when a man has one gay or bisexual experience, because really a straight man will never want to experience anything with another man.
Because
So
yeah, go on. No, go ahead, Kels. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no,
Go
no, no.
ahead.
That's all I wanted to say, was that the reason why they are, they are automatically get called, gay, when they have had an experience, whether if it's 20 years ago, because a straight man will never want to get involved with another man.
Yeah, yeah. I just because this is the bottom line. A lot of us don't want to admit it, but there's a lot of strange sexual fetishes in the black community.
Yeah, I get that.
This is a touchy subject. This subject is as uncomfortable as a pap smear. I said the same thing when I was in Red's chat room. Nobody wants to talk about this. This is very uncomfortable, like a pelvic exam. Nobody doesn't want to talk about this, but there's a lot of people out here with some sick sexual fetishes.
Mm-hmm.
And whether we want to believe it or not, there are some men who like eggplants.
Mm, mm, mm.
And
There you go. There's a term. I'm like, what could you call it? Like, there's not like
I'm using
a
the
soft word.
emoji.
Eggplant. All right, eggplant. We got
I'm
eggplant.
using
All right.
the emoji.
Mm-hmm.
Eggplant, huh? So they don't. So they don't care too much about a peach. They want an eggplant.
There you go. All right, peaches and eggplants. We got it. All right. All right then.
So
We've got appropriate terminology.
YouTube is sensitive, man. YouTube is on its ministration, so it's a lot of things we can't say. I'm gonna read
True
this little
facts.
tiny comment and I'm gonna let Ruby go in. Six Figure says, plus some of these men don't want to break women's hearts, no matter how much women try to make them straight. These men will not commit to women no matter what. Stay safe as possible. Yeah, you go ahead, Ruby. I just want to put
It's,
that out
it's
there.
not
You got
about
okay.
breaking. It's not about breaking a woman's heart. If you like men, don't sit up here and perpetrate a fraud like you like women. Marry the woman, have kids by the woman, and live with the woman, when all the while you low key like men.
True. And I agree with you. Hold on. First, before I respond to what you just said, can you say what you said before? Because I wanted to respond to it, and then now I don't remember because we said so many other things
What part?
between.
What the part where what his wife said? You wanted me to.
No, what did Kel say? You said something, and then we went into the eggplant thing, and then I lost it, and I'm like, I want to respond to what you said. It was
I,
like,
I was saying that no straight men. The reason why if
right.
you ever had an experience with a man, they're automatically called gay, because no straight men have an attraction to other men.
Right. Okay. Okay. I know what I was going to say now. Okay. So, and not that anyone will again agree with V, but I'll tell you this is why my opinion is different than everyone else's, right? Because I'm looking at it from the more scientific perspective, and I'm looking at it from the behavioral analysis perspective, right? And so when you look at this, now, first of all, you're right, absolutely no straight, dead straight. You are dead straight. You will never engage in anything with someone of the same sex. You will never think anything of the same sex is even remotely attractive. You know what I mean? It will not happen. Now, realistically, it is actually, so if you think about it like a bell curve, okay? And so on one end of the bell curve, it's women. On the other end of the bell curve, it's well, not women, sorry. On the one end of the bell curve, it's straight. On the other end of the bell curve, it's gay. Okay? There's a very small percentage of people who are just gay. Like they only are attracted to their own sex. They could not get it up or get wet for, the opposite sex. It will not happen. Okay? And then everyone else falls somewhere in the middle. Somewhere in the middle. So maybe you would be able to get off a little bit from watching porn that had two girls and a guy, even though you're a straight woman, or two guys and a girl, even though you're a straight man, or whatever it is. Now, does that mean that you're gay? No, it's just your thoughts are able to go somewhere sexually that the dead straight 100% person thoughts can't go to. Then you get into the middle where the bisexual people are. Okay. So now here's the thing with the bisexual people, right? They might be sexually attracted to both men and women, and be able to fall in love with both men and women. But they also might only be sexually attracted to both men and women, but honestly can only fall in love with one or the other. Now, what we normally hear about in these perpetrating cases, Kel's going back to what you were saying, is these men, they can develop deep love, care, respect, admiration for women, but they're not falling in love with her. So they can sexually, yeah, I could get it up with her and whatever, but they never develop that I fallen deeply in love with her feeling. And they only get that from a man one day, and they know that they have these feelings. Sure, they know they have the sexual feelings and blah blah blah. Why do they reject it? Why do they perpetrate? They're not perpetrating for because that's what they hope to do with their lives. It's to not be ostracized. It's to not be thrown out of their community. It's to not, they're trying to fulfill what everyone else wants. In essence, they're trying not to disappoint. They are trying not to hurt and destroy this woman they care about so much. They're trying not to hurt and
Right.
destroy their mamas. They're
Yeah.
trying to fulfill a lot, and they're trying not to die in some cases, depending on where you're from. I know in Jamaica, a lot of gay kids have been sent to the Americas to not have their throats slit. So, at the end of the day, there's a lot of reasons why people perpetrate. But, other than the perpetrating, now we get into some of these miry areas. And I think that's where Malik Yoba is, because I don't think that when he looks at a man, so he looked at, I don't know, let's say Morris Chestnut. He looks at Morris Chestnut, he's not sexually attracted to this man at all. There's nothing about Morris, because he's a man. He is attracted to the physique, the look of a woman, right?
Then
He
then
likes
be
the
with then check out a woman. You checking out a man who's covering himself up as a woman.
No,
He's
no, no.
still
But
a
see, here's
man.
the thing, though. But one with
Mhm.
what you're doing is conceptualizing, right? So you're using, like I said, that forward brain that we have, that forward reasoning that we have to say, well, if genetically this is what you are XY instead of XX, and you were born and this is what you look like, and your body parts were this and that and whatever, then you're a man, and so therefore, by definition, if someone were ever sexually attracted to you in the future, no matter what you look like, then they're gay. Well, other people don't see it that way. So perception is everything. So if you look at someone and they visually look like a woman, they sound like a woman, they've taken their time and energy and effort and money to make themselves look like women,
Mhm.
right? Then your brain is going to respond to that woman, whether even if you're one of those people who once you find out she's transsexual, like, ew, no, your brain is going to respond to her like she's a woman. Why? Because that's what visually it's receiving. The difference is some people, when they hear the explanation, well, you were born a man and blah, 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 they're okay with that concept, because what they are saying is, yes, they fall somewhere in the bisexual realm, obviously. They prefer the look of a woman and being with a woman. But that being said, since they're bisexual, they fall in love with people, right? I fall in love with men, I fall in love with women, blah, blah, blah. So I don't care what you were born as. At the end of the day, if you're going to end up looking like a woman, and that's what I'm going to visually be getting, then your genetics don't bother me, because I'm attracted to the female form regardless of where it started. That's what he's saying, which to me is bisexual. It's definitely not gay. It's bisexual to me.
Yeah.
But he's with a
Yeah.
man dressed up as a woman. I understand what we see as a woman, but
Mhm.
it's still a man.
But see, this is the thing about it. Y'all both got significant points, but we're dealing with different factors. For one, Malik has already programmed in his mind. He feels he don't think he is, because he don't think he's gay, because he's just looking at the perception of the fact that this dude looks like a woman, and he's in his mind is giving himself a pass that he's not gay, being that he's visualizing the man as a woman.
We
So
can't
that's why,
we
yeah,
cannot let the masses blindfold us like this.
I,
It's
I,
still a
I,
man.
I agree. I totally agree. That's what I'm saying. I agree with where both of y'all are coming from. I agree with what Ruby is saying about how he has perceived it in his mind. But let me tell y'all something. People have a strange way on how they make stuff up in their mind. For instance, I was watching this documentary. This guy was doing gay porn. Now this is a different toilet, but it's the same crap. So just kind of follow me a little bit. In his mind, he made it programmed to himself that even though he did gay porn, he just does gay porn as his job, but really he's not gay. So in his mind, even though he was having, and I know this situation is different, but I'm just saying mentally, this is how some people really have learned to program it in their mind. He don't think he's gay. His thing is, I just do gay porn. But when I'm done doing my scenes, I'm really straight. So in Malik Yoba mind, he done convinced himself because he has allowed the masses to influence him, or either he has learned to influence his damn self that I'm really not gay.
But
Even
it's
though
more
you
than that.
could
It's
be.
more than that. And
It
Kels,
is
have you
more
ever
to it.
But
done?
It's
you
just a
gotta
Kels,
like
have
pretense.
wait. I
sex
have
in
a
order to get
question.
porn.
I have a question for you, Kels. Have you ever done the MBTI personality test?
No.
Okay, I'm going to explain why I asked. Okay, and if anyone has done the MBTI, you might know where I'm going with this. So, depending on your personality type, there's going to be, and that's basically depending on your makeup. There's going to be things about you and about the way you perceive the world that are wildly different from someone else. Some people are very sensual. And when I say sensual, I mean they are very connected to their senses, to what they see, to what they feel. It's not about what they think, it's about what they see and they feel. Some people are very connected, opposite. They're very connected to their logic, they're very connected to their thoughts, to what they think, to what they've reasoned.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Some people are in the middle, but I mean, some people are very on one extreme or the other, right? And so their senses, their five senses, and what they feel about the world and whatever, that is so important. It's overwhelming to them to the point where that's all that matters. And some people are so connected to their logic that their senses are irrelevant. It doesn't matter what their senses tell them. If their logic tells them something different, they're rejecting their senses, right? And that's why I was asking. So if you're someone who's deeply connected to your logical side, to that part of you where you think and you reason and you logic and you're so connected to that, then you could never understand or put yourself in the shoes of someone who's super connected to their senses and to the feeling of tactile and right here and well, I see it and I feel it and whatever. And so that's why I was asking, because I think that Malik Yoba is one of those people, and I think that the people who are like that and they're okay with dating a trans man or dating a trans woman, and for them, well, you're a woman and that's it, and they're good with that answer. I think it's because they are very connected to their senses, and so as long as their senses are giving them the feedback of woman, they're okay. Right. Whereas and I, like Topaz said it, and I'm the same way. A trans man for me doesn't work. Why? You don't have a penis. So just in and of itself, that's not going to work for me. But my logical side is too connected. So because I use that logical side way more than my senses, even if your appearance and your feel was all man, my logic would take over and tell me you're XX and you're a woman, and therefore I'm not attracted to you. Do you know what I mean? So I get like,
Exactly.
I'm not on the other side. I wouldn't date a trans man. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, though, at the same time, I understand the other side. I understand the other perspective as well. I wouldn't call him straight, especially because in this
Right.
particular scenario, he literally said, I like breasts and I like penis, eggplants. So, and if that's the case, then and he likes both of those things, well, one of them's female anatomy, one of them's male anatomy, the man's bisexual. And for
Bisexual.
him,
Okay.
transformers are the best of both worlds. Okay, he's a
I,
bisexual
I
man, right? Like,
now that you broke it down in that way, okay, I follow you now. Being that he's like the male genital and the female parts, that means he likes both. And I agree. He's definitely, so we all on the same accord where we agree that he is not so much gay, because gay just means does just strictly go for men.
But that's what
And
you're
that
saying.
we
That's the thing right there. You letting the transformer that's glamorized up as a woman when he's really a man distract y'all by making y'all say that he's bisexual when he's really gay.
no, because in this case, and that's what I said, in this case, Malik Yoba wants to date people who have breasts and appear as women but still have keep their male anatomy. So if that's the case and that's what he wants, is he wants someone who wants to keep the best of both worlds, and he's clearly a bisexual person. Now, with that being said, that's a different thing than a person who identifies as female and is going to go through the whole shebang, get all of the surgeries, and now she comes out, she's got a peach, the breast, the whole nine, the body. I don't think you should lie, and I've said that as well. You need to identify yourself to people because they need to be able to make that choice. But with that being said, I think that if you are someone who doesn't, it can get past the logical side of you, and you're just going with your senses, and you say, well, this looks like a woman, feels like a woman, acts like a woman, thinks like a woman, okay, cool, then this is a woman. To me, I don't see you as gay, because you are looking, your perception of the person you're with is not a man, and that person is not going to be perceived as a man. If you don't tell anybody, if that person doesn't go and tell the world and whatever, then no one would ever know. So to me, that's a different situation.
It's a very sticky situation because y'all both got two different points. Because understand Kel's point as far as physically, he's a man. Even if he's getting breasts added to him, he's a man. But in Malik Yoba's eyes, or his perception, based on what Ruby is saying, he don't internalize it like that. But
of course, he's not going to
of
internalize
course,
his.
of course, he's not going to. But this is another argument we can make. Being that Malik Yoba does have kids and he has been with women, can we say that still suits him as bisexual, even with this trans situation? Because he has been with women, and I'm sure he's probably doing both. I'm
But
sure he's probably doing women and men and transformers.
I had said that before.
Okay.
A lot of down low men who like men who don't want to come out or let anybody know that they like men or want to be with men will use women, marry women, have kids by them so nobody will know.
Yes, and down low
Hmm.
gay men who are just using women basically as a beard, and saying, listen, I was never really in love with her. I was never really attracted to her. I just basically needed her. I slept with her enough times to bear a few kids, so no one asked too many questions. And then basically gave her all of the non-sexual love and attention, just like she's my best friend in the world, because that's all she is to me. Yeah, no, I think that using women, period, is wrong. Definitely using women as a beard is wrong when you're actually gay. But in the case of somebody who is and can be attracted to women and is and can fall in love with women, but also is and can fall in love with men and be attracted to men. So they're not perpetrating a relationship. I'm in this relationship with this woman. I'm in love with her. I'm sexually attracted to her. I'm all in it with this woman. When I am single, now, you know what I mean? My interests vary to whatever body parts come my way. If I like the rest of the things attached to it, that's not a fake relationship that he had before. There's a difference. He's not using these. He didn't use his ex. He didn't sit there and say, well, I need a beard. There's
Now,
a difference.
Now, E. Alice said this, ladies. I hear you, girl, but I bet if you asked him if he was bisexual, he would disagree. Now, I believe that part because this dude sounds totally conflicted. If y'all watch that Breakfast Club interview, it would just make you want to punch him in his throat. This dude was all over the place like a helicopter. He could not give a direct anything. And I think he felt even more pressured because the community was there, so he had to really watch what he said and how he said it. So she said, he never said he likes men with penises. He calls himself heterosexual. He is conflicted, and I can concur with that because he just kept going all over the place. First, he said he was just attracted to trans. His wife
Mhm.
outed him and said, "No, you in a relationship." Then he said he's
See,
not gay. Then he said, I'm heterosexual." But this dude, he is totally confused. I don't think
he's
he's
talking
confused.
in
I think he's a
confusion.
habitual liar. I
He's
just
talking
think
in
now,
confusion. He's talking in confusion. Why don't you just
yeah,
why don't you
I
just
think he's
say what it is that you
embarrassed.
really, really like? Well,
I think he's embarrassed now.
I mean, I could totally understand if he's embarrassed, you know what I'm saying? But everybody's coming out.
He might as
No, but
well
you know what though?
to have a whole team to support him. You
That
know,
doesn't matter. Are you serious? People have turned around and hated me and abandoned me even now in my adulthood, even now in these YouTube streets because I have a transsexual parent. Like somehow I chose that. Now, with that being said, and I need people to understand, people have clowned me,
mhm,
people have made disgusting, disparaging insinuations about my relationship with my transsexual parent. People are disgusting. And so what happens is now when you are part of a community that is so fearful, because we have a lot of fear. I'm not saying the young people, I'm saying we got a lot of fear. We got a lack of understanding. We certainly have a lack of when it comes to a lot of these things. And then a lot of us are heavily clouded in Christianity. It's not a place where
I'm not a Christian.
I didn't say you were. I said a lot of
Oh,
us. I said
okay,
a
my
lot of
bad.
us are heavily
I'm
crowded in
sorry.
Christianity. And I
mhm,
mean, in and of itself, the community, and this is a big thing, right? Even a lot of the belief systems, when we say things that we think and we believe, we don't even realize that, hey, man, that's literally mirrored from the Bible. Just because, again, it's stuff that we're being taught and raised in and culturally raised in our whole lives, whether our family is Christian or not. Right? We don't really see. We're not. It's not like I'm saying, oh, well, you're going to hell because Jesus said or whatever, right? But it's
right,
just like
yeah,
there's a lot. Basically, where we don't come from is a community of people that would be like, oh, okay, cool, okay, so this is your preference. You like men, or oh, okay, you like both men and women. Okay, cool. We don't come from somewhere where it would be cool for you to say that at 13 or 15 or 17 or ever. And sure, the world's changed now in the last 4 or 5 years where you might get a large support, not necessarily from the community, but from somebody. Okay, great. But, that doesn't change necessarily what was happening before. And that's where you're going to see a lot of older people tend to come out or tend to reveal these big secrets when they're a lot older, when they've already lived life. And at this point, they've gotten to that I don't really care place. You're already old enough, you just don't care about people's opinions anymore. It just stops mattering as much. But how much understanding do we really have within the community? And when I say understanding, I mean, as in, I mentioned intersex conditions. Does anyone know what those are? Probably not. And if you can name one, it's probably being a hermaphrodite. And that's all that people know. So people don't understand that there are several intersex conditions that actually exist in the world. They're not one in a billion things that happen. To humans when they're born, where either, like I said, their genetics, as far as them being born XXXY, for example, or their physicality, whereas on the surface, outside, their whole entire lives, they develop looking just like a woman. Their bodies, they have breasts, everything, the whole nine. They're actually very gorgeous women. And normally they find out they have something wrong because they get to 16, 17, 18, they haven't had a period. And then they go to the doctor, and if the doctor starts looking around, they find out that those things that you thought were in there that were ovaries are not ovaries, they're testes. Then you do genetic test, you find out that this girl who's been a girl, 18, 20 years of her life, was born genetically XY, and she has a condition that makes her basically, her body doesn't respond to androgens at all, no testosterone whatsoever. So even though she was determined at birth to be a boy, her body said, hey, you're XY. She had this condition from birth, so her body never started trying to make the outward physical appearance of boy. And then we know that because of these intersex conditions, we understand that your brain and your body are flooded with hormones at various stages of development in utero, at various stages, to make you develop into a woman, not just, or into a man, not just physically, but mentally. Right? Because men and women have different mental strengths and weaknesses and have different ways that their bodies prepare for things in life. So we know all of that. And just like we know that those things can go horribly wrong sometimes. So when you start having a
mhm,
deeper understanding of some of those things, then, like I said, a lot of this becomes a little less murky and seems a little less choicey. Now, with that being said, I do think that it's still a choice one way or the other. You could have just sat there and been single. You didn't have to sit there and deceive somebody. And if you were going to deceive somebody, your ass could have sat there and deceived someone and otherwise not gone out and had careless sex with people of the same sex because you were so unhappy. That's not the way life works. You married. So whether you married someone you hate or love or not, you don't have a right to go and sit there and deceive them and play with their minds and play with their hearts and
Mhm.
whatever, right? I don't care one way or the other. I've even written about men on the down low. I don't care what your reasoning or your excuse is. Stay single or get married and then stay miserable. But you don't get to have the best of both worlds. You don't get to have a beard and then also put that beard at risk every single day because you want to have your cake and eat it too. It doesn't work that way, right? So, but yeah, sorry, I've been
Yeah.
rambling. I'll stop.
No, I mean, no, you absolutely said a mouthful before we get ready to switch gears again and wrap things up in a little while. But I just think it spiraled out of control. I think it backfired. I think he put it out there for his own personal selfish reasons. It was to
Yep.
save his ass about something. I really don't think he has any love for the community like that. I really don't think he's coming clean because he's found the Lord and Savior and wants to free himself of his hidden desires. I think
Because he was
he
about to be outed. That's why he
it
wanted to
was
take.
about that's what everybody says, and that's how I feel. He was about to be outed because you just came out the blue with this, and now you going everywhere with them trying to save yourself. You've been on a Breakfast Club with them, and if you have to see that Breakfast Club, I want if
Didn't
y'all didn't
even
view
warn
it,
his kids first. Didn't warn your kids
no,
first.
he
And
didn't do
that to
that.
me is unforgivable. You came
Because
out to the
he
world and tell your kids first? Come
because
on.
he was put on the spot. So he didn't have time to think about telling his kids. He knew I got to hurry up and put this out here before this person puts it out. That's the same thing that happened to Hank Wilkinson that was married to Kendra. He
Mm.
waited till she put it, the transformer put it out there first, and it tore him to shred. This guy has been not able to get a break, and I just thought they had the perfect marriage. I thought Kendra
Mm.
found the perfect husband. I mean, it was he didn't have no kids from a previous marriage. She didn't have any, so I thought their marriage was really just going to take off. They had a reality show. They was doing really well, and he went out there and he experimented with the transformer, and she put the live video out of him begging to not tell his wife, and
Oh
she did
wow.
the exact
No, no,
opposite.
no.
He was
No.
pleading. Hmm?
Watch, Mocha, listen. Okay, so this is the message that his ex-wife said. So Malik Yoba, as the mother of our two beautiful children, you already know how my support for you has always been unconditional. I
Yeah, that's
expressed
the one
that
I read.
2 months ago to you when I became aware of your current trans relationship. So why did you
Hmm.
not have a conversation with our children and wait till last night to text our firstborn with this info? Yet you were preparing your public months ago on IG. Our children support you and keep so much a secret of what goes on, really goes down with our family dynamic. I asked to meet you over a month ago and you have yet to make time. So here I am. If you know better, then do better. Family is first overall. So no, he actually had time. He wasn't this did not come out of the blue. He told his wife, I'm guessing he said, listen, I want to take the time, I'm going to tell them and blah 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 and prepare. He's been preparing to come out to the public for months. So obviously he's had that conversation with her as well that he's going to come out publicly, blah blah blah. And then I guess like no, like I don't think that the trans person, whatever, because this story happened on August 26th. Listen, he had time. The point is, he told the wife, or the wife found out about his trans relationship. So that means he's been in a trans relationship with somebody. He had time to tell his kids and he didn't because he was more worried about shoring up public support. Because, again, as is usual in our community, we care more about what the hell Instagram and Facebook and Twitter think
Hmm.
about us than what our own families think and feel. And to me, again, that's unforgivable. This is mind blowing. This is your father. It will
Hmm.
shatter your whole reality. I'm literally in a book. I wrote it. So I
Hmm.
know this will shatter your reality when your daddy comes out with something like this. And you didn't give your kids like a week head start, even. You didn't sit there and have the decency to sit in front of them face to face and tell them, even. Like, I don't care if your kids are grown or not or whatever. Like that should, to me, that's unforgivable. That's
So
unforgivable.
if he had time, that should have been even more the reason why the kids should have known first.
Mm-hmm.
Being that he had all this time. So what in the hell happened? What triggered that
Mm-hmm.
spark? What ignited you all of a sudden to say it? Did you meet with this transformer one more time and she threatened you or said something? It's something, and it may come out later. But nevertheless, we all can agree that Malik Yoba is shady as hell. He cannot be trusted. Um, he got issues. He got more issues than Jet Magazine because he has flip flop more than a spatula at IHOP with pancakes. I'm not buying nothing he has to say at this point. I think he done lost his masculinity card,
Yep.
especially with the straight men in the community. I don't think none of the brothers here are going to see him the same. But you ladies both made some very insightful points. I definitely concur with both points. It's just too conflicting, but it is what it is. He has to walk that walk now. It's been put out there. He has to put it out there. So to switch the third gear, because I'm always hearing about women who have a lot of children. We hear about this all the time. We hear about single moms being a liability because they have all of these children and these baby daddies. But what I'm finding amazing now, the rapper Future has just had his eighth child. And those of us, I'm not a big hip hop fan. I'm more from the 90s hip hop era. That's more my time. DOS Effects, EPMD. I'm more kind of in that era or whatever. The Lost Boys, Wu Tang. That's kind of more my flavor. But Future is, as we know, a very well known hip hop rap artist, and he's been known to have been linked with several women in the industry. He's been with Black China. He's had a child from Sierra. He has had a baby from rapper Bow Wow, baby mama. So, Future has a lot of children. And Future is not the only man in the industry that I know has several children. We see other rap artists like Lil Wayne, who has had several children. Not only rappers, we see athletes that have all of these children by different women. His name is, oh my gosh, I'm not a Howard. Howard, one of my guys helped me out. There's a basketball player by the name of Howard who has a lot of children as well. So my question is this: do y'all feel personally that men who are also having a lot of children, or do they have more of a pass compared to women who have excessive amount of children? What is your intake on these men in the industry, these rappers, these athletes, these men, of high prestige that are having several children by all type of women in the industry? What's y'all intake on this?
My intake on it is I don't, I look at it as the same when a man has a whole bunch of kids, just like a woman has a whole bunch of kids. I look at it as the same from my personal standpoint, but I think the man will probably get a pass on that than the woman will.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 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 I totally
They,
agree with that.
yeah, they could
Mm-hmm.
get away with having 9, 10 kids, and they could still get a woman. They could get away with
They sure
Yep,
can.
they could get away with being with 50 women a day and be called players and pimps and the man. But when a woman do it, it's like ew. You know what I'm saying? Trash.
Hmm.
Um, she's got too many baggages. She's damaged goods. She's no good. So in this
Hmm.
instance, I think the man get cut some slack.
Hmm. Yeah. I totally agree. I think, the reason why, and it's just my personal opinion, and again, if it doesn't apply, you don't have to reply. I think some of these black men in the industry could be way more successful than what they are if they wasn't breeding babies like roaches. When you take into account all the child support,
Turkey
that you were
baster.
kicking out. Yeah, turkey basters.
Okay,
And
because I don't think they'd be intentionally having all. I don't think they'd be intentionally. I was like, I don't think they intentionally be having all these kids.
Oh
I
my
don't think
god.
they be
they,
trying
they,
to have all these
they,
kids.
they, they, they,
You
they
know, them
probably,
turkey
they probably
basters come in
not.
handy.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, these women is pulling a new low. They doing all kind of stuff now. They yeah, I've heard women who perform sexual acts and will hold it in their mouth and later on put it somewhere and shove it up. I'm trying to be as
You
You're
trying to
trying
be
hard.
PG
Girl, you're
as
PG.
trying
You
hard.
possible.
trying to be
Remember
PG,
Peach.
right?
Peach. Yep.
Peach, be, I'll say sauce. I'll say that ghetto sauce.
There
They
you
will
go.
hold that ghetto sauce. I've heard some females go that far. It's what's up, sheep slay? Good to see you.
What was it?
Oh,
You could call it
It's
eggplant dip.
that's my
yeah,
bro. She say
it's
sleep TV. Hey, what's up, bro? How you doing?
yeah. I was watching his video. I was watching your video today, sheep's stay about the what's the man's name? Everybody talking about him now.
Oh,
He's with the
Hassan,
Africa Bambaataa. Yeah,
Hassan
Mm.
Campbell. Oh,
yeah.
that's,
I was
I watched the
watching.
replay of that. That shit was
Yeah, I
crazy.
I was watching that sheep. That's the reason why I was kind of talking about the Malik Yoba thing. Your content kind of inspired me to kind of speak on that because, like I said, that's one of them uncomfortable subjects that the black community we don't want to talk about that, but it's a lot of splendor. There's a lot of brothers around here sipping splendor, and we don't want to talk
Yeah,
about that
smoke
because
up.
they hide behind their masculinity.
Right. You're right about that.
It's a lot of that. That's why some
So
of them can't stand women so much because they're too busy, you know.
They
Well, let
want
me
to be
be
a
quiet.
woman.
Yeah, it's a lot of that going on. But yeah, definitely, as I was saying, I just don't see, why men would want to sit up here, and raw dog so many different females.
But
And
I don't think they'd be intentionally having all them kids.
but then
I'm
some of them
telling
be, yeah,
that turkey base.
yeah, some of them do that. They do maliciously. Yeah, they do some underhanded stuff. Yeah, and that's what happens when men are not careful. When you fall asleep before she does,
Okay.
you fall asleep before she does,
You
and
know how
you
to
didn't flush it down the
have another
toilet.
kid. Okay.
You didn't flush it down the toilet. You let her provide the condom, and it had a hole poked in it. Um, I mean, it's all kind of ghetto damn tactics that females will have reached a new low on
Yeah,
trying to get
because
impregnated dude. So yeah, it's been a lot of
females are looking for a come up.
oops babies that was produced because
but see,
the
this is
man had
my
no
thing
But
though.
pussy.
they looking for a come up. What better come up than the athlete with a lot of money?
But that's
Yeah,
their fault. That's the listen. I'm
yeah.
tired of this, and I'm gonna say it. I'm not saying that
Hmm.
these women are cool with their their ridiculous tactics or whatever. I'm not saying that, right? What I'm
Yeah,
saying though is that if you have something worth living for, and therefore you've got something to lose, how dare you run around being so careless with your eggplant and where you're
yep,
sticking it and what you're doing with it? Period.
right.
Now
Because he
to
knows
Yeah.
me,
that it's not going to go nowhere. Even though he may think he's going to lose it, it's not going to go nowhere.
but see, my
Hmm.
thing is this though, right? Okay, my thing is this, because too many of these ratchet hood rats who ain't got nothing are coming out of the woodworks with all of these stars babies. Now,
You feel me?
right? It didn't happen once. It didn't happen twice. It's happening like twice a month now. It's so regular that it's like some. Okay,
Sure.
here's my thing. So if you got something to lose, you think your life and what you're doing is worthwhile, and you got self-love, then first of all, why are
Hmm.
you sleeping around with such reckless abandon? Period. Number
Hmm.
two, though, and here's the thing: if you are going to sleep around with such reckless abandon, how dare you not take the millions of dollars that you own and make sure you've got condoms and you know what I mean,
Hmm.
spermicide and
I
all the
don't
things
know.
that you would need
I
to
don't know,
protect your damn
Rubes.
self.
I don't
Hmm.
know, Rubes. They act like condoms ain't cool no more.
Right, right. So
Mm-hmm.
you guys, so what
Right.
we're gonna do is we're gonna sit there and we're gonna make commercials telling the poverty people that they should be making sure that they wrap it up, making sure they protect themselves, get tested for HIV regularly, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And to make sure we extra support that cause, we're gonna make sure that we continue putting on blast all of these stars who apparently cannot afford or find a condom anywhere ever. They can sit there
Mm-hmm.
and literally take $200. $200 a month and just on
Yeah.
recurringly get $200 a month worth of condoms sent to their house recurringly monthly and not even notice it, not even notice the money that they're spending, just what's there, just so it's there. And they can't be bothered to protect their life, their future, or their legacy to that extent. Now here's the travesty of it, because you know what, okay, we're talking about those two things, we talk about those things with the regular community anyway, but here's the travesty is that what they are doing is destroying the Black community, because in one of the few ways right now that in larger numbers we are able to create a lot of wealth, a lot of money that could be passed down and become generational wealth and become power, is being pissed away because these guys cannot either keep it in their pants or wrap it up responsibly. And so they're not passing down a collective amount of wealth, because their wealth is getting broken up into teeny tiny parts between paying
Mm-hmm.
everybody alimony, paying everyone child support, and whatever. By the time they die, there's not going to be anything to pass down to children. There's not going to be any legacy built. There's not going to be any, and that's the problem. That's where, to me, it
Mm-hmm.
really irritates me, because you have these little idiot kids out here who are making you billionaires. Okay. And they're making themselves extra poor, buying all the clothes that you wear and buying the jewelry you wear and buying the sunglasses you wear and whatever, right? Making you famous, spending all their time tweeting about you and following your Instagram and whatever. And you can't even sit there and just act responsibly, so that way they don't take their maybe middle class existence they might be able to attain one day and actually achieve that. No, no, no. They're going to follow you. So instead of being able to become middle class, now they're going to become extra poverty stricken. And every dime that they make is going to go towards child support and alimony and whatever. Like, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that at least these people who are multimillionaires, yeah, sure, you know what, you got a lot of money you can piss away, but you've got so much more to lose. And to me, you have a bigger responsibility. But of course, as a community, we don't believe in collective responsibility. We don't believe in collective conscience. And we definitely don't even believe, all we believe is the individual. We don't even think we're responsible for the kids we've made. And this is
Mm-hmm.
why we don't sit there and look down on these men who make 15 kids. We don't look at it from the aspect that, hey, he made 15 kids. He can't take care of 15 kids. That means most of those kids won't be taken care of. He's part of the problem. He never should have made 15 kids. He never should have impregnated 15 women. It never should have happened. Now, on the other side of that, we're going to look at the woman and say she ain't shit because she's got 6 kids. So she ain't shit, but he's fine. And realistically, we should be looking at it from the opposite perspective, and saying that, hey, you know what? He's irresponsible as shit. Why is he going around finding these women who can't take care of shit anyway,
Mm-hmm.
and then impregnating them and putting himself in a position where he can't take care of his genetic offspring? Survival of
Mm-hmm.
the fittest. You're supposed to make the best offspring you can, and you're not. You're supposed to be able to make the best genetic wealth transfer that you can, and we're not. And men are supposed to be the leaders in our community, so they're the ones ultimately that I'm going to look at and say, hey, listen, y'all got to do better. Women are going to keep acting like fools and keep acting silly and keep acting whatever, as long as it keeps getting them what they want and need, and it is. But it's not helping our men build and grow.
Yeah, you definitely said a mouth. You definitely said a mouthful. I think we could save ourselves so much more, less drama, if we decided to breed people who was actually in love with us, or people who actually was committed and married to us. When you go around here having loose sex and you're just breeding babies like roaches, it becomes very expensive. All of the way I look at it, all of the money that a man is spreading between 15 to 16 baby mamas, he could be putting all of that into just that one woman that he sleeps with every night. Why not enjoy the fruits of your labor with that one woman? Why spread all of your income between these 15, 16, 17 different households, these different females. Every time they get mad at you, they have the power to run down the child support and ask for an increase. You know, the thing about it is a lot of these men, they like to go in hard on black women, and I get it because I cannot stand black women who do this, who abuse the system, who are using their wombs for profit to make money off of. But again, as a man, you give a woman power over your life when you decide to go on a raw with her. She has the power to take your money and do what she
Yes.
wants to do with it, because child support is not looking out for you men like that. And y'all already hear the horror stories when men who have tried to fight and get full custody, they couldn't. The mother had to be proven to be a crackhead. She had to be proven to be abusive in order for you to get custody. Not only that, you have to see your children suffer with women that are not good mothers. You see your child in a separate household and you limited on being able to tell this chick what to do when it comes to y'all children, because she's not your wife, she's not your woman, she's a baby mama. But at the same time, she's still going to want that entitlement of getting your paycheck. But at the same time, she's not going to have to feel like she has to respect anything that you say, because, again, she's just a baby mama. She's not your wife. And I think that's one of the biggest misconceptions in the black community. We want to talk about these black women, but it's these black men who are impregnating these type of black females. You know, if you're a man, you got your stuff together, you got your own home, you got you a nice car, you making good money, you are a prime candidate. When these low down, these low common denominator minded females are going to try to ruin you. You run your own business, you have no other children, she's going to look at you as a lotto ticket. Oh man, he got his own business, he's making bank, he don't have no wife, he don't have no other kids. So if I get knocked up by this dude, all that allotment is going to come to me. I don't have to worry about it getting split because he don't have a wife, he don't have other children. So as a man, you have to make sure you protect yourself, because these baby mamas are not going to protect y'all. The child support court systems are not going to protect y'all. And these low down, dirty feet, black females, they're damn sure not going to protect you. So as a man, you know, just make sure you don't get caught up and get knocked and knock a broad up that can make your life miserable. Um, it's a lot of men who have done it. And my thing is, just because it's easy, don't mean it's necessarily going to be cheap. It may start off that way. And I notice when it comes to getting some boonie, you know, men most of the time they try to get the cheapest bargain. They want to go for the chick that's not going to ask for a whole lot. They want to deal with the project chick, the hood chick, the below the barrel chick, who you can get away with buying her some Popeye's fried chicken sandwich. You could
One of
buy
them
her kids.
Popeye
Yeah,
chickens.
that's what I'm saying. You can get away with getting this broad because she got a low level mind. She'll take anything. So at the time, you thinking you winning, you thinking you getting over because you can go bang this chick back out as much as you want, and all you got to do in return is get her Popeye's fried chicken sandwich. Guess what? This is the same chick. This chick that acts slow, this chick that act dumb, this chick that acts dysfunctional. This would be the same chick. Soon as you knock her watch, she has all the sense in the world. These chicks that act slow and dumb, they smart when it comes to getting child support. They smart when it comes to trying to take you for everything you got. So just because a female acts slow and simple and you think she easy and you think, man, you can get it anytime you want. Let me tell you something. Anytime a woman is willing to give it to you anytime you want, there's a catch with that. There's a catch. She's letting you get it as much as you want because she wants you to become comfortable. Because what tends to happen, especially with you men, when you find a broad that's easy to let you hit it as much as you want, eventually you're going to get comfortable. It's kind of like, you know, you're now to get one cookie out the cookie jar. And if your grandmama don't say nothing to you, you're going to keep going back and keep sticking your hand in the cookie jar, stealing more cookies until one day you get caught and she catches your hand literally in the cookie jar. That's because you done got too comfortable. You've been hitting it so long, you done got comfortable. And I think that's how a lot of these guys get caught. They screw the same ratchet ass chick for so long, they forget to dot all their T's, dot all their I's, and cross all their T's. They get so comfortable with laying her because some of these chicks got what's called an all you can eat buffet. She let you get it any way you want, as much as you want, as many times as you want. So you have to be very careful. Anytime a woman is willing to give you ass all of the time, she don't question you, she don't hesitate. You come over 3 in the morning, she's letting you hit it. You come over 5 in the morning, she's not giving you no gripes. It's all a setup. It's to bait you and get you comfortable. And when you least expect it, somewhere you're going to slip because you're not going to be careful each and every time. So, men, I advise you, you don't want to get caught up in that situation. Protect your eggplant. You feel me? But we've definitely been covering a lot of wonderful topics this evening. We talked about these cyber harlots. We talked about these splendor brothers, these sweet and low brothers, artificial sweetener brothers who trying to act like they have one type of sexuality, but at night they sneaking and meeting up and creeping with transformers and things of that nature. And we talked about men who are also producing children like roaches as well, how the black community is giving these men a pass, but at the same token, these women that got 8, 9 kids, they don't get a pass. Once a woman has too many children, she becomes a liability. Yet when a man does it, nobody sees anything wrong with it, but not realizing that he becomes a liability to himself because he gives a lot of women a lot of power to control his life. These women get to decide how often they want a child support increase, how often they want to go to child support on him, how often they want to go back to the judge and say, yeah, I know you was giving me 5,000 a month, but now I want 10,000 a month. Not only that, when you are a father with too many children, you stretch yourself too thin. You cannot give all your children the undivided attention that they need because you got too many of them. And not only that, a lot of these women are trifling. Wouldn't you rather have your children from a woman that's in the same household as you so you can see that your child is being taken care of, so you can see your child is provided for, so you can see she don't have a new dude around your child every other month? You know what I'm saying? Your kids calling a new dude daddy every other week. I just think you save yourself from a lot of drama and headache if you decide to have all your children from one woman. You wife her, have a future with her, build with it. If you're going to go through hell with one woman versus going through hell with several women. I tell women this all the time. If I'm going to go through hell and back, I'm going to go through it with one dude. I'm not going through it with 8 and 9 of them. You get what I'm saying? So on that note, before we get ready to wrap things up, I'm gonna let Ruby and Classic give their last words before we get ready to shut it down. But anybody who is interested in cable, if you have Spectrum, if you have Direct TV, you have Dish Network, if your cable bill is over $100 and you are tired of your cable bill going up every month, I can make your pockets a little easier for you. We have Thanksgiving coming up. We have Christmas coming up. And I think you can take your money and invest it in the other things if your cable bill was much cheaper. And I have my own cable service app where I can sell you over 6,500 channels for only $25 a month. The only thing you need is an Amazon Fire Stick and you need the high-speed internet. So if anybody's interested, you think that's something you might want to look into, just email me after this content is over. If you already got an Amazon Fire Stick, I could actually give you cable today. I can give you cable within 5 minutes. If you already got an Amazon Fire Stick. So before we get ready to end this session, Ruby, Kales, do y'all have any other things you would like to say to the cyber harlots, the transformers, or these excessive sperm donors?
Well, I just want to say for the Transformers, I don't got really nothing to say about them. You'll never be a woman. You will never experience what a woman experienced. You will never
Yep.
experience childbirth. You will never experience periods. You will never experience fibroid embolization. You will never experience any of that. So I
Mm-hmm.
don't got too much to say about them. The cyber harlots, I don't got too much to say about them either. But stay over there, stay in your little hole that you crawled out from.
Yep.
Nobody cares about you not getting any attention and validation. Suck it up and take a seat. And what else? Who else did you say to address?
I think and the men who got all of these baby mamas.
Yes, and for the men that has all a whole bunch of baby mamas, y'all damaged goods too. And that's
Yeah, you
that's
got
it.
that overpopulated penis.
Yeah, now you limb dick. You know what I'm saying? You damaged goods, you're useless, you're limb dick. Okay,
he
not just
he
the women too.
he got that American Express penis. It done been everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? Any place that accepts Visa, I'll pass.
Oh my goodness. Definitely. And Ruby, what do you have to say about tonight's topics? We talked about the cyber harlots, the transformers, and the community eggplant dudes.
Community eggplant dudes. Okay, well, okay, I'll say this first and foremost, which is this. I think when we look at all of these issues, we can definitely point our finger in the same direction. And the direction I'm talking about is the fact that overall, as a community, we do not like truth and honesty. We do not like change. We do not like anything that challenges our thoughts, our feelings, our opinions, or our actions. And the problem with that, of course, is that I think we all know that that's true. We all say that that's true. We say that it's true on our streams, on our panels, and whatever. I just think that, sometimes, and part of the problem is sometimes we don't recognize when we're falling into that exact same trap that everyone else does about other things, about things that we clearly see clearly. And the problem is it's hard. It's very hard to figure out if you're caught in that trap. People aren't trying to be caught in some trap of lies. People aren't trying to be
Mhm.
caught in some trap of confusion, thinking, living according to basically lies and bullshit. No one's trying to do that. And so because no one's trying to do that, we got to recognize and be honest with the fact that since no one's trying to do that, most of the people who are trapped there are lost, and they don't realize they are. They think they're on the right side. And I think until we find an effective way to determine objective truth, and then we also find a way of getting people to accept the difference between objective truth and your opinion or your personal experiences, which is different than objective truth. We're going to continue running into these bullshit situations that are basically destroying and hurting the community. People are going to continue to destroy and hurt themselves. They're going to continue to live a lie. They're going to continue to fool themselves with the lies that, like, for example, with these community eggplant dudes, as I think it was Topaz who said, they tell themselves, yo, I got this girl on lock. She'll do anything I tell her to do anyway, blah, 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 blah. Right? Because they won't open their eyes and see that, yo, listen, you got millions of dollars. That doesn't change what this chick's about. Doesn't change
Exactly.
you think she got to listen. She's just lulling you with a false sense of security until that one day you decide to mess up or whatever the case is. Like, see, that's the thing. But it's all about lying to yourself. It's all about refusing to live in reality, refusing to live in truth, objective facts. And I think honestly, it sounds crazy to people, but to me, objective truth, objective fact is going to set us free if we can ever find it. And that's my 2 cents on all three of them.
Oh yeah, yeah, this definitely needed to be had. Again, also this is brought to you by the Anti-Fuckery Zone, promoting knowledge, not garbage. We aim to build the Black community, not demolish it. As I stated, and I'll mention this again, we have too many pesticides, that are going into man spaces. Having issues with females who they don't even know personally, over misunderstanding. Like I said, I could understand if it was something worth being angry about. If you caught somebody with your man, or somebody was FaceTiming your man, or something serious, or somebody said something about
Mm-hmm.
your child, something to that extent. Okay, I can understand you addressing it, but it's too many grown women and grown men that are being petty, in these YouTube streets. We all are grown. We got bills. We got responsibilities. You should be putting your time and your energy into
And
things that
man,
are worth more effective and edifying. Something that's worth putting your time into. All of this undercover shade and subliminal, messages, and you taunting people from chat room to chat room. Anytime you do things like that, it just lets somebody knows how pressed you are and how much control they have over your life. I will never let anybody control me to the point to every time I'm in the chat room, I have to let them know I'm in there. I have to say something to them to get their attention. I would never let anybody even think they had that much power over me to where I had to recognize them and I had to say something to them every time they I encountered them in a chat room or on a panel. I feel like if you are as successful as you claim you are and you are doing so well with your life, you wouldn't have time to mess with small fries like me, quote unquote, since you feel like I'm beneath you and I am under you, then why are you wasting your time if you feel I'm so basic and so generic? Why give basic and generic people all of your time and attention if you feel like they're not that relevant? And keep in mind that every time you sneak into my chat room, you are giving me a view. Every time you come to my content, even if you say something negative, you are adding a view to my content. You are increasing my views every time you do that. So just understand that you are not breaking me, you are building me. And every time I'm in your presence, you have to say something to me. You letting me know you are hot and bothered. You should never don't let nobody even know they got that much control over your emotions to where you have to spaz out or say something to them every time they come into your presence. You get what I'm saying? So I just think that we give too much of the wrong people too much admiration. We give them too much attention. And I'm just fed up with a lot of these irrelevant sisters. Some of them don't even, I'm starting to notice, and I know I'm rambling on, but I'm starting to notice it's the most irrelevant sisters
it's
that's
always
the
the
ones
most
causing the most
irrelevant.
amount of trouble.
It's
Yeah,
always the most irrelevant, insignificant, undesirable, low budget, bottom feeding ones.
it is.
It's
It
always
is.
you're not going
It's,
to get this type of behavior from high quality, top notch, respectable, classy women. You're only going to
Nope.
get this type of shit from
exactly.
low budget bottom
Facts.
feeders.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Because these are the main ones. They would never go live. It's always the ones that hide behind avatars who take the punk way, the coward way out. They just got to pop up like a pimple, pop up like a zit
Every
other
day
chat
shows.
rooms because they're not about to go live and show who they really are. They're not about to go live and directly say something to somebody. They have to hide behind avatars and hide behind these men spaces. My thing is, if you have an issue with someone or whatever, yeah, they have to hide behind avatars and hide behind
And
men
men,
spaces.
I don't know why they're hiding in men's spaces for. They're not going to protect you.
No, they're not.
No. You're hiding in the wrong kinds of men's spaces. Why are you gonna go sit in the manosphere, the last place in the world men are gonna be sitting there defending random ass women they don't
They're
know?
not
On
about
some
to
bullshit.
protect you.
Really? Come on now.
Right.
Exactly.
I would think they would have
Exactly.
more common sense than that, Rubes.
You would
Exactly.
think, and yet,
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And guess what? Men like who they like. Your opinion about another woman is not going to change how that dude chooses to rock with that female, and vice
nope.
versa. You know what I'm saying? No matter how much I don't like a female, I don't have that type of influence over any of these dudes in YouTube where I can make them not like somebody I don't like. Now I
So
will
I've
forewarn
tried
them.
to use logic. I've tried to use
Hmm.
logic and just evidence and receipts and been like, okay, look at what this girl's been doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
But they don't
damn,
care,
Mocha, you
Rubes.
know, I just did it the other
they
day.
don't.
I just did it for you on the other day. Did it change anything? Did that girl
No.
get permanently banned?
No,
No, because
Rubes.
they elicited.
That's what I'm
They got to
saying.
do something to them in order for them to remove them. What
Yeah,
you
that's
Mm-hmm.
the
saying
only way
and
these
your
men.
receipt
You're right.
means nothing. Unfortunately, it means
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. These men, they're not going to protect the females that are solid on their platforms. They're not going to protect the women who they know, are down chicks who are solid and loyal to the team. The men, we can't expect them to protect us but so much, and it goes both ways. You know what I'm saying? Females, we don't have that advantage to pit men, to make men pit one against the other. You know what I'm saying? So, my thing is, whatever, if you're comfortable with it, whatever decision you made, you don't have to keep responding. You don't have to keep going in these men platforms and in their chat rooms and, throwing little undercover shots like somebody can't read them between the lines and not know who you talking about. You know what I'm saying? Or this is the new thing. When they don't know the truth about you, this is what I'm noticing too. When these females don't know the truth about you as a content creator, they make up lies.
Oh, they
It's a lot of
definitely.
women that are habitual liars on these YouTube streets. They will go around using your name like they know you personally. Oh, Ruby. Ruby from so and so. Well, she's this, and that. Where did we come off with black women? Y'all are sitting up here making lies about other black women because
Because
you, yeah. Go ahead.
black
Right.
women are the most envious women on the planet. That's
Yes.
why.
Yes, you ain't lying. It got to be that.
Lord.
It got to
Mm,
be that. If I haven't never been with your man, if I haven't said nothing about your children, anything like that, it got to be jealousy. It has to be.
mhm.
There's no way you're going to get that hot and bothered to the point to where you allow an opinion, a simple opinion, and opinions are like buttholes. Everybody has one. But the
Mhm.
but the crazy thing is these females, the men's attention that they are seeking are the ones they'll never get. You may
Yep.
be flirting with these guys in the chat room, but once they find out you that single mother of 4 or 5, guess what?
You'll be the laughing stock.
They running away from you. And from what I've heard, this person was called out on that. I said, okay, well, that makes sense. They go into certain man spaces, and once they get exposed, they run.
Oh,
You
I
know,
know.
they
Mhm.
I'll let you know behind the scenes, but I know somebody else that called this person out.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, yeah. We're gonna have to do a behind the scenes chat
Yep.
because we have a pesticide, we have a cyber harlot that's been going around and climbing out of windows and jumping from one panel to another panel, um
Hold on, Kel, is
doing a
this
little
the same person you and I talked about behind the scenes? Is
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
I'm trying to.
Okay.
Okay. Yep. It sure is.
Okay. I'm just checking. I'm just because I'm like because obviously I
Mhm.
missed the preamble, right?
Right,
So I don't
yeah.
know. But I can tell you that lately, behind the scenes, I'm telling you every single time, just because it's been a running theme, a running joke. So every time I see it, I take a screenshot and send it to her, and I'm like, "Oh, back at it again."
Back at it. Straight back at it. Little buddy
I
ass.
mean, like the saying goes, when you talk about me, this lets me know I'm on your mind. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? So you just going and you just like I said, she has become a STD.
Ugh.
She don't become gonorrhea. She keeps
Syphilis.
Mhm.
popping up everywhere. She don't become my new syphilis. I got rid of one syphilis and here it is. Now I got another syphilis. I can't. It's too many STDs. I'm telling you.
Yeah, they're trying to
And it's
take over your
YouTube.
life, make you miserable and undesirable and pathetic like them. And it's like my life is not your life. I will never be miserable and pathetic like you because I don't see my dreams through your eyes.
Yeah, I mean that's what I'm saying, man. I said, I just started ignoring that person because I'm like, look, if you want the
I as well.
attention, sis, you can go ahead and have it. I'm
You can
not
have
I'm
it
not
all.
seeking for the attention. If you want to be the only one in the chat room, all the guys notice, then you can
You can
have
have
that.
it.
You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm not
You
I'm
have
not
one with it.
Right,
thirsting,
Mocha.
Mhm.
but I'm
Right.
not going to stop hanging out in certain places just because you feeling a certain way. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't know why she has this idea where I'm trying to one up her. I'm not trying to one up you. I'm my own woman, like you are your own woman. There's
I
no
would have been
one.
like, I'm
Mhm.
already one up. Where you at?
Right.
I would have been like, Mocha 1, you 0.
No, she's just trying to catch up. It's not that she's trying to one up you. It's that she's trying to catch up to you. She even if she
Must
got a
be
couple points, she still is nowhere near you. That's
I
her
would
problem.
tell her, listen,
pretty much.
you need to stay behind me.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
she's
Learn.
already where she belongs. So I don't
And
understand why she's fighting that.
I mean, I'm willing to help her get whatever it is she needs, but she's gonna have to cash at me first.
Oh
I
yeah,
don't
I mean,
mind
listen,
helping the sister get to
we're
the next
giving you
level.
we're giving you the dues that you want. What more else can you ask for?
Mhm. Mhm.
Sis said you can have all the attention. Now let's see what happens from there. Let's see.
Right.
I,
Look, Mocha, let's see. I bet you the two same dudes will be the two same dudes speaking to her.
yeah, it's gonna always be, hey boo. And some of these females, they so damn desperate. Just when a man speaks to them, they get wet. He can just be like, hey boo. And she
That's
start dripping like a damn, like the
that's
damn
because
Niagara Falls.
she toe up from the flow up. That's why.
Yeah, had that same avatar picture forever. Girl, bye. Who you ain't fooling nobody with
And
that,
no
girl.
telling, that was probably 15 years ago.
Yeah. Girl, I'm so over these cyber harlots.
You
I
might
I
as well be because they insignificant. They want to be us
yeah,
so bad. And it's like, you just need to not come at me. You should just ask me some questions. I can help you out.
that's what I'm saying. Or if, like I said, I've once extended the invitation. And I've said, if a woman has a problem, that's how you handle it. You email somebody. You don't email them talking ratchet, using a lot of excessive profanity and degrading stuff. Just be a woman about it. Hey, sis, I had a problem. I didn't like what you did. I didn't like what you said. Maybe you ain't meant it that way. Give a woman at least the opportunity to express herself. Maybe she didn't mean it the way you perceived it, but we're in a world where these women, they want to make it for bad because you're looking for confrontation. Because if you wanted a solution, that's what you would have been trying to aim for. Or if you wanted an understanding, that's what you would have been trying to aim for. You would have been woman enough versus doing a little shady things, going in the chat rooms and throwing little subliminal messages and handling
Right.
it like kindergarten. That's what women do. Women deal with issues head up, but at the same time you have to be approachable, because black women say this all the time: if you got something to say to me, say it to my face. The truth is, not all of us are approachable, because the moment somebody does come and say something in our face, we quick to want to throw bows. We want to throw insults and stuff.
Yep.
So you can't say, if you want to talk to me, don't tell another woman that you're willing to extend that privilege to talk to you, and then when she does, you want to throw shade. You want to throw insults, because that's not being a woman, especially if you are a mother. I especially got a problem with women who are a mother, because once you have a child, that should give you new perspective, especially because now you're supposed to be setting an example. And the stuff that you're doing, for you to have a son, daughter, how many children you have, I would hate to see how they're going to come up being that you are the one that's supposed to be leading by example, because the example that you're leading, it definitely shows that you definitely lack class, with the way you have been presenting yourself these last couple of weeks. But anyway, we're going to definitely get ready to shut it down. I want to speak to Ruby and Kels. I want to speak to y'all behind the scenes. I'm sure when I close this down, it's not going to be open. So I'm going to do a private link to y'all. So be on standby, because I'm going to go ahead and send y'all another link. I want to catch up with y'all on a
All right.
personal note, so we can catch up on some more things. But other than that, I definitely love everybody who came out here to support my chat. Big ups to all of my subscribers. To those of you who have been rocking with me from day one, again, I thank y'all for your loyalty, your dedication. Appreciate everybody who sent cash apps to me throughout this chat. I definitely thank you. I appreciate the support. Also, for those of you who are interested in buying cable, you can email me and hit me back up. Other than that, I definitely want to thank, of course, Poetic Kales, for being a solid woman that she is. Also, Classic Ruby for also being the solid woman that she is. These ladies have been on my team from day one. Like they say, we don't fold on each other, and I'm very grateful that I have been able to meet women on YouTube streets that are really have substance, that really have class. So I'm grateful that I have these ladies in my corner. For the rest of these females out here that lack discretion, that don't know how to conduct themselves as women, the only thing I can do for you is keep you in my prayers. That's about it. Can't offer you much of anything else. So on that note, everybody, we appreciate y'all. This is your girl, Lady Mocha, Poetic Kales and Ruby. We are signing off, and y'all have a blessed one. Take care, everybody. It's been awesome.
Yes, it has. Cheers, y'all.
Peace.
And also, let's applaud Kels because I asked her to speak more. She really is. And I'm loving it. And I know y'all are loving it too. Y'all have been rolling. Thank you, Kels. Thank you. See, I
No
told you. I'm like, yo,
problem. No
girl,
problem.
I told you. I'm like, you start talking more, it's going to be great. And you are. See, it's just like your streams where you're popping your bubble gum. Only
I
with the group.
love that. Yeah, she was going in. I said, what? I said,
Right?
what's going on? Somebody, she get somebody to stroke her, do a little backstroke or what? Something going on.
Mhm.
All right, y'all. Well, y'all be on standby because I'm gonna throw y'all a link so we can
All
do a
right.
private session. All right. Okay.
All right.
Later,
Sounds
everyone.
good. Later, y'all.
Okay, later.